impact their property tax rates?
I don't really have an answer to that.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. Over the weekend, human remains were found in a tote in North City. Coming up, I'll tell you what police know so far.
The man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is set to make his first court appearance today.
Israel begins its expanded offensive in Gaza as a UN commission declares it has committed genocide.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunny and hot today, the high 93.
Big week of sports. Cardinals wrapping up their home schedule and the Blues starting theirs. We'll have it for you in 15 minutes.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Breaking News. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Israeli ground invasion underway in Gaza City. The announcement followed large explosions and flashes across the skyline overnight and a pronouncement by Israel's defense minister that Gaza is burning. His country's goal to destroy Hamas. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke before he left Israel for Qatar.
Our preference, our number one choice is that this ends through a negotiated settlement where Hamas says we're going to demilitarize, we're no longer going to pose a threat, we're going to disband, we're going to release every single hostage.
Israel's warned Palestinians still in Gaza City to leave immediately and head south. Israel categorically rejecting a new UN report accusing the country of committing genocide in a bid to destroy Palestinians. The BBC's Imogene Folks from Geneva.
The report says the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the President Isaac Herzog, and the former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant deliberately incited genocide, and the UN investigators warn Israel's allies they must act to stop the killing or risk being complicit.
The 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination is expected to make a virtual court appearance in Utah later today. CBS's Anna Schechter.
He does face at least 3 charges in the state, aggravated murder, which could carry the death penalty, and 2 other charges.
CBS News has confirmed Tyler Robinson appears to confess in an online group chat just before his arrest. FBI Director Kash Patel is expected to face questions about how the case was handled when he testifies on Capitol Hill today. Florida is now allowing people to carry firearms openly in public.
Last week, a state appeals court ruled Florida's open carry ban, which had been in effect since 1987, violated the Second Amendment right to bear arms. Yesterday, the state attorney general told police agencies to stop arresting people for open carry. Marion County Sheriff John Budenseek says most gun owners will be responsible, but
it's the very few knuckleheads out there that are going to do something to give them a bad name that I'm worried about.
Some other sheriffs and Democratic state lawmakers say open carry will make Florida more dangerous and will scare away tourists. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Fed begins a crucial 2-day meeting on interest rates today. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
It is widely expected that the Fed will lower interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. Economists and analysts say that it is more likely that the Fed sees the risk of the job market deteriorating as a greater threat to the overall health of the economy than tariff-induced inflation.
Fed Governor Lisa Cook will be at the meetings after a federal appeals court blocked President Trump from firing her. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
At 6:03, we have a clear sky, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Cities in St. Louis County are playing a waiting game to see how the senior property tax freeze will impact their property tax rates.
The info on how many seniors are getting a lower tax rate has not made its way down to the municipalities yet. Kirkwood Finance Director Mary Sprung asked about the impact.
I don't really have an answer to that.
Cities all over are finding that homes within their boundaries are seeing big jumps in their valuations. In Shrewsbury, Finance Director Dustin Siebold.
The reason you will see our rate drop significantly for residential, a lot has to do with the significant rise in the assessed valuation.
That's right. The spike in value can be so high that towns are having to dial back their tax rates to keep from collecting such a huge windfall that it would violate the state's Hancock Amendment against tax increases without a taxpayer vote. Town and Country Finance Director Joan Jadali jokes they're not going to see a decrease there.
That would not happen here in the city of Town and Country.
Towns with this issue on their plate right now range from Manchester to Olivet. They're waiting to see how the senior property tax freeze impacts their rate threshold. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
In Cole County, the first of several lawsuits over redrawing Missouri's congressional map began with lawyers for the NAACP arguing that the new map should be voided because lawmakers should have never met in a special session in the first place. That lawsuit was filed as soon as Governor Kehoe called lawmakers back to heed President Trump's call to draw the maps to gain one more congressional seat by carving up the Kansas City area seat held for years by Democrat Emanuel Cleaver. Arguments were heard by Circuit Judge Christopher Limbaugh, who did not issue a ruling or give an estimate on how long he might take. The maps will go into effect in December unless a judge strikes them down.
Missouri's county clerks and election officials say they are worried about the state's newly approved congressional maps. Boone County Clerk Brianna Lennon tells MissouriNet the group sent a letter to state leaders raising concerns about how quickly the new maps are expected to be put into place.
If we get a map that ends up going through litigation and isn't considered like a complete finalized map until the middle of next year, for example, there are actual limitations that may prevent us from being able to make those maps effective for the midterm election.
Lennon says once the map is finalized, it's up to local election offices to make sure everything runs smoothly, from assigning voters to the right districts to making sure they get the correct ballots and accurate election information. And that's why she says the timing is critical.
There's a new law in Illinois drivers need to know about.
You should be very cognizant of moving over a lane if you can, and if you can't, slowing down.
State Rep Jay Hoffman sponsored the addition to Scott's Law, also known as the Move Over Law. It means you should change lanes or at least slow down for more than just pulled over emergency vehicles, now assisting pedestrians and moving on the shoulder emergency vehicles as well.
It really is safety for emergency workers, whether the police, fire, or tow truck drivers.
Hoffman says it was passed with bipartisan support and Governor Pritzker signed it into law.
Questions remain after a body was found stuffed into a tote in St. Louis City over the weekend.
It is incredibly alarming, and it is a concern.
St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy, after human remains were discovered Sunday afternoon on the 4900 block of Harney in North City. He says so far, all they know about the victim is she was a female.
Given the circumstances of how this individual was found, what I can tell you is that there's an autopsy being conducted today that will help our detectives determine a cause of death. We don't know how this individual died.
Asked if there was any indication this was connected to the bones found 3 miles away on Labadee Thursday, McCoy says nothing suggests that at this time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
That is not the sound of a gunshot. It is the sound of a chair in the food court of West County Mall falling to the ground during a big fight, but people thought it was a shot, which caused a lot of panic at the mall on Saturday. Many hid in the back rooms of stores. The DePere Department of Public Safety released the video to explain what people heard and to show there is no evidence of a shooting.
HSHS St. Elizabeth's Hospital has formally announced $116 million in major growth projects for its O'Fallon, Illinois campus.
The projects will include a $66 million expansion of the hospital's emergency department, including 8 new emergency department treatment rooms, along with 32 new inpatient medical and surgical unit beds. Another $50 million will go to a new outpatient surgery center, diagnostic imaging center, and medical office building that is currently underway and is expected to be completed by October of next year. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Temporary layoffs are coming for most workers at the GM assembly plant in Wentzville. According to a joint letter from plant leadership and UAW Local 2250, the shutdown is due to a shortage of parts. The layoffs are scheduled to run from September 29th through October 19th. And affected employees will receive unemployment and subpay benefits.
It is 6:08, and coming up, we will check traffic and weather for you. It is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with 2 chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day with just 2 rinses a day.
Never have bad breath again. You can find Smart Mouth locally at Schnucks and Deerbergs or at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. Visit smartmouth.com to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. purchase. That's smartmouth.com/Glover.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
610, Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's an easygoing Tuesday morning out there so far, Tom. Like I said, we had some road work going on westbound 64, west of 364, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, Prospect area. It looks like they picked all that up. The delays, the slow going we have dissipated over the last 10 minutes or so. Eastbound 70, eastbound 64, southbound 61 coming in from Wentzville look great. Northbound 55 approaching 67. We have a little slowdown there now in that construction zone. And northbound 67 is a little busy at Double C. But once you get around that, it's a great run up across the river to Pear into downtown. Downtown, we're still good to go. Westbound across the Musel Veterans Poplar. They're doing road work on 5570 between 111 and 64. But right now, not enough volume to slow you down there. Next update at 620 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of sunshine and hot today and still rather humid, the high 93. Tonight will be clear. Lows will range from the mid and upper 50s in many suburbs to 67 downtown at the Arch. Mostly sunny and hot tomorrow, high 91. Sunshine mixing with clouds and hot Thursday, high 95. The record is 97, set at 1925. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got clear skies and 67 degrees downtown. The weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Senator Josh Hawley wants new ICE agents to be trained in Missouri. Hawley sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security promoting Fort Leonard Wood as a prime location to train thousands of new federal officers. He argues the fort has the infrastructure and capacity and is already a hub for military police training.
Hispanic Heritage Month is underway. This year's theme, We Are All One. A special flag created by local artist Jose Garza is now flying just below the American flag outside St. Louis City Hall. Local Hispanic and Latino leaders gathered at the flagpole Monday morning to make their voices heard. Here's Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez, who is of Puerto Rican descent.
Some politicians are praising policies that threaten the rights and dignity of immigrant and Latino communities. And now we have a Supreme Court decision that says it's probable cause to arrest you if you speak Spanish and look like you work hard. That's why moments like this matter.
Hispanic Heritage Month ends October 15th.
St. Louis County Council members discussed what could be an expensive problem for taxpayers. There are no fire sprinklers in the longtime county government headquarters, and the city of Clayton says a building which violates code like that can't be occupied. But the latest deliberation wasn't for public consumption. The council yesterday immediately went into closed session, and after about an hour and a half of closed-door talk, they returned.
We are back in open session. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
For years, there's been a debate between building a new headquarters in Clayton and installing sprinklers in the old building. There's been no agreement on whether one option is more affordable or realistic than the other.
The Scouts are moving to Chesterfield, but what happens to the former Boy Scouts headquarters building in the Central West End is still a question. There have been several developers with plans that fell through. The latest plan is from Kansas-based Garrison. They have the property on West Pine under contract, and according to the Business Journal, want to build a $51 million four-story building with 157 units of multifamily housing plus ground floor retail. The current structure would be demolished, and that needs approval from the city.
Illinois leaders are remembering former Governor Jim Edgar as a steady and principled voice in Illinois politics. Sarah Herrera reports.
He left office with approval ratings north of 60%, a rarity in Illinois politics. Former Governor Pat Quinn.
Well, he was a practical person. He understood in politics you can't get everything you want. Sometimes you have to make compromises. He understood arithmetic, though, that you had to balance the revenue you had with expenditures. And he did a good job at that. And it was a good model for all of us who serve in government in Illinois. You got to balance your budget.
Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias also praised Edgar, calling him an amazing man, an incredible public servant, and more importantly, a trusted friend and advisor.
We'll get to Cardinal baseball in just a moment, but I teased this at the top of the hour. It might have snuck up on you. It's hockey season. Blues open training camp in 2 days. They report tomorrow. Start skating as a full squad on Thursday at Centene Community Ice Center. GM Doug Armstrong.
I'm curious, do you see leadership qualities in some of your younger players already? Is there anybody that's emerging in that area?
Yeah, to me, it's Jake Neighbors. Jake is someone that he just, if once you get to know him, his personality is you gravitate towards his personality. He had an ability to function in all aspects of the married people, the younger people, the older people. Very comfortable talking to the management, the coaches. He has natural leadership qualities, and then there's other players, but that would be one name to me that steps up as a younger player that's finding his own that we're hoping can help the younger players as they get in here become pros, know what it means to be a Blue, but that starts with being a good player on the ice, and so he's a player that I have a lot of expectations for both on and off the ice.
Doug Armstrong on our show, Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX. You can hear it in its entirety by going to KMOX.com. Again, Blues opening training camp Thursday at 10 a.m. at Centene Community Ice Center. Now we turn our attention to baseball. KMOX's Matt Pauley at Busch Stadium yesterday, and the Cardinals just couldn't get it done against the Reds.
Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado is activated off the injured list prior to the team's 11-6 loss to the Reds. It's his first major league appearance since July 30th, as he has been out with a shoulder and a finger issue. In his return, he goes 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI while playing a strong defensive third base. Manager Oliver Marmol is happy to have Arenado back.
I loved it. He made a nice play there that saved a couple more runs. I mean, we were already down, but he did a nice job at third. He's done that all year and then swung the bat well and drove in that run. But it's, I'm really happy to see him back in the lineup.
Arenado is currently on a 69-game errorless streak at third base. That ties his career high with Colorado. It is the longest active streak among Major League third basemen and the second longest streak by a Cardinal third baseman ever, behind Gary Gaetti, who did it during parts of 1997 and 1998. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Marmol, our guest today at 12:05 on the Gas House Gang on KMOX. The Phillies have clinched their second consecutive NL East title with a 6-5 victory in 10 innings over the Dodgers last night. Monday Night Football, Baker Mayfield led an 80-yard drive and a touchdown run by Rachaad White with 6 seconds left. Buccaneers rallied past the Texans 20-19. In the nightcap, the Chargers beat the Raiders 20-9. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Hold the onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. I've worked with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano for more than 30 years. Their guidance and assistance with my estate planning and legal documents gives me the peace of mind that I have the retirement I've worked for and always dreamed of. And I'm playing it fully with my grandchildren, volunteering, and traveling worldwide. I play confidently knowing my estate is secured in any event. You can get your estate secured with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano too. Visit their website, yourestatemasters.com, and download their free webinar on how to get started. Then make a free appointment. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatemasters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be made solely on advertising.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:20 and you are listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things don't look bad out there right now, Debbie. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. We do have volume, though. If you're northbound on 55, they're slow going, approaching 67 in that construction zone. The right lanes are bogged down. Butler Hill up to 270, and a little bit of a backup north of Bayless up to River de Pere. North 270 still looks good from 55 through Gravois and up around Ladue. You're good to go. Eastbound 30, a little busy. Mauer to 270. Lindbergh at Tesson Ferry. Report of an injury crash there. Eastbound 64, just sort of a slowdown midway in from Winghaven to Highway K of a brief duration. It doesn't even look like it's a quarter mile, so not much to be concerned about there. East of there, you're wide open. Eastbound 70 looks great coming in from Wentzville. Downtown, we do have some roadwork delays on 55, 70, 203 into 64, where they're doing that emergency repair work right now as well. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. We're looking at a hot one today. In fact, an air quality alert from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunny and hot, humid, high 93. Tonight, clear, low 56 in the coolest suburbs to 67 downtown at the Arch. That's a pretty wide range there. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and hot again, a high of 91. Currently, it's clear, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. Prosecutors are looking at filing a capital murder charge against the Utah man jailed in the killing of Charlie Kirk. Charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson are expected to come today ahead of his first court hearing after he was arrested in last week's shooting.
Investigators are continuing to piece together evidence from the attack at Utah Valley University, where Kirk was speaking on a nationwide campus tour. Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance is promising that the Trump administration will act to stop anyone who would kill another person because of their words.
As authorities continue to learn more about the alleged assassin of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, Trump senior advisor Stephen Miller told Vice President J.D. Vance, who is hosting Kirk's podcast Monday, that they are going to be laser focused on going after left-wing groups they believe are engaged in extremist behavior and hate speech.
With God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
President Trump and his supporters are blaming Kirk's death on what they see as a rise in violent rhetoric on the political left, and some of those same conservatives are targeting people who posted negative messages about Kirk in the hours and days after the shooting, some celebrating his assassination. Thousands of people have already been fired or furloughed by their employees as a result, including Washington Post columnist Karen Ataya, who said she was fired for speaking out against political violence, specifically lax gun control laws. Attorney General Pam Bondi tells Fox News some of the rhetoric they've seen has been vile.
It's free speech, that you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you.
Federal authorities continue their investigation into 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, who they believe committed the murder. FBI Director Kash Patel on Fox News Monday morning.
We've collected information where, through witness interviews from the FBI and local law enforcement, that he essentially admitted after the shooting and assassination of Charlie Kirk, the suspect admitted to it. Furthermore, the evidence and information will come out. I won't stylize the evidence. The Attorney General is absolutely right. We can't do that. But I will say what was found in terms of information, a text message exchange where the suspect specifically stated that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do that.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox said Sunday Robinson believed in a far-left ideology and said he was involved in a romantic relationship with a transgender roommate who is cooperating with police. Utah authorities say they are preparing to file capital murder charges against Robinson, who will appear in court later today. John Stolness, Washington.
President Trump says the U.S. military has again targeted a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela, killing 3 people on the vessel. Trump announced that strike in a posting on social media. That strike comes 2 weeks after another military strike on what the Trump administration claims was a drug-carrying speedboat from Venezuela that killed 11.
The administration has justified the military action as a necessary escalation to stem the flow of drugs into the United States. But several senators, Democrats, and some Republicans have indicated their dissatisfaction with the administration's rationale and questioned the legality of the action. AP reporters were not able to get a comment from the Venezuelan government.
Israel's military says it has expanded operations in Gaza's main city.
The Israeli military has announced its operation in Gaza City to destroy Hamas's military infrastructure is now in gear and warns residents to move south. The announcement follows a night of heavy strikes against northern Gaza that killed at least 20 people. Israel's been warning Gaza City residents to evacuate for the past month ahead of the operation, but many have said they're unable to evacuate due to overcrowding in Gaza South and the high price of transport. Also on Tuesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio left Israel to go to Qatar, where he meets with its ruling emir as the nation still incensed over Israel's strike on Hamas last week. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Vaccines and heart disease. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. In a bid to protect those with heart disease, the American College of Cardiology has issued what it calls concise clinical guidance recommending vaccines for this adult patient population against some common illnesses. Dr. Deepak Bhatt is the director of the Mount Sinai Heart Hospital in New York City.
The American College of Cardiology, as you said, has issued this new guidance to cardiologists, but also then to patients with heart disease, really strongly endorsing the use of appropriate vaccines, things like the influenza vaccine, the pneumococcal vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, some others as well, RSV and zoster. And the reason for this is to try to prevent those infections, which can be particularly catastrophic in people that already have things like a history of a heart attack or heart failure.
Dr. Bhatt says studies have shown that vaccines are highly effective in reducing the severe risks of these illnesses. With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's time to give Overhead Door Company of St. Louis a call. I did that very thing. I picked up the phone and called 314-781-5200. I guess we don't pick up the phone anymore. We just take the phone and we call the number on our phone. 314-781-5200. And when I did that, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis picked up on the other end, and they assigned a technician to my garage door needs. In fact, I had 2 for them. I had our house and my mother-in-law's, and they took care of both the same day, same technician, Anthony, same morning, actually. Went to our house, and then I met him over at Nana's house, and we took care of both. A great job by Anthony, a great job by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They're the best. They've been around for a century. Most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. Always look for the red ribbon. That's how you know you have the genuine, the original overhead door company of St. Louis.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
It is 6:30, and right now we've got clear skies, and it is 67 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see what Roger Brand's up to, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're talking about a minor crash, a sideswipe crash on northbound 55, Tom, just south of Butler Hill. Traffic's bogging down there, and it goes all the way up to 270. Ramping onto North 270 is a little slow after that. You're good to go till you got up to close to Doherty Ferry to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, a little heavier now. Eastbound 30, slow from Mauer to 270. Northbound Tesson Ferry approaching, like the Schussler, Kennerly area, a little bit of a backup there. Northbound 55, of course, from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pears, slow. Lindbergh at Tesson Ferry, or Lindbergh at Lemay Ferry, rather. They're wrapping up an earlier injury crash. Out to the west, seeing some volume now. Southbound 61, midway down from P to Wentworth Parkway onto 64 through Prospect. And again, both sides of Winghaven after that. Looks to be in good shape. Eastbound 70 still wide open coming out of St. Charles County. And downtown, we have the roadwork delays. It's more extensive now. Westbound 5570 west of 111 through Exchange. Some of that is becoming stop and go, actually. Next update is 640 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be hot for most of this week until we get to the weekend, and then we'll just be in the mid to upper 80s. So that'll be some relief. In the meantime, we have an air quality alert today that kicks in at 10 and runs through 8 tonight because of that heat and humidity. Sunny and still kind of humid, high of 93 at 67 right now.
The fight to change Missouri's congressional districts could also be on the election ballot. A nonpartisan coalition has filed a referendum petition with the intent to let voters decide whether the Missouri legislators' approved congressional redistricting map should stand. The Trump-backed districts aim to give Missouri Republicans another U.S. House seat next year and send Kansas City Democrat Emanuel Cleaver into retirement. Richard Von Glahn with People Not Politicians Missouri says the group is made up of Missourians, not people from out of state.
Well, Not Politicians is going to be a group of Missourians who are making sure that we are prioritized by our elections and we're not simply pawns in a politician game.
The group must collect at least 107,000 validated signatures in 6 of 8 congressional districts by December 11th. A common Republican argument is that the people have voted for lawmakers to make legislative decisions.
United Auto Workers in Wentzville will be laid off later this month, briefly.
The layoffs begin on September 29th and run through October 19th, according to a joint letter from both the Wentzville plant and United Auto Workers Local 2250. A majority of all trades and shifts will be impacted by the temporary layoffs, including stamping, body shop, and final process. The reason for the layoffs is a shortage of parts, according to the letter. The United Auto Workers Benefits and Labor Relations team will be providing workers with unemployment and subpay instructions. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX is still awaiting a response from United Auto Workers Local 2250.
That's a very unfortunate event that it would cause layoffs and shutdowns from parts not coming in.
That's Courtney Tarrant at Wentzville Pizzeria Stefanina's on the impact of the temporary General Motors idling. She tells Fox 2 it's not the biggest town, and a lot of their business comes from lunchtime deliveries to the assembly plant. But
we've been making pizzas for a while, and we keep it the same, and people tend to really like it. So we just do what we do. We're going to continue to do what we do.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. If you look over my left shoulder on our YouTube X Facebook stream, you can see the Soldiers Memorial here in downtown, and it looks all nice and lit up. It's actually a bit of a illusion, I would say, because the sun's not up.
No, it is kind of dark out there still.
Yeah. Well, we'll give you the full forecast here in just a few minutes. Joe Lundberg will be joining us live. Sports in 10 minutes. It's coming up on 6:35. Your Money Report next.
Wow, we've had a hot summer so far. Probably still got a little bit more heat coming in through the rest of August and September. Most likely, let you know, I am still here. If you guys looked up the wife looking through you at a fork, I am still here. She still loves the hell out of me because my air conditioner did not break this summer, and I did not need to call me to have it looked at or have it fixed. But if you do need your air conditioner fixed, we can get to you pretty quick. If you want a new one, somebody tells you need a new one, we can get to you really quick. Just call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. I almost forgot. bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It is 6:35, and it is time to check your money report. It's from Bloomberg, sponsored by Ackerman. Excuse me, Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys. My goodness.
Good morning. Good news if you're a fan of Japanese cars, as the tariff on imports of vehicles and auto parts from Japan drops to 15% today, in line with a trade deal between Washington and Tokyo. The auto levies had originally been set at 27.5%. The Department of Transportation has revoked the antitrust immunity that allowed for a joint venture between Delta Airlines and Aeromexico. The two companies have been coordinating schedules, pricing, and flight capacity. Officials say there has been no improvement in Mexico's anti-competitive behavior in the air travel market between the two countries. Delta says ending the venture will hurt American jobs and consumers. The Federal Trade Commission is investigating Live Nation-owned Ticketmaster to see if the ticket seller is doing enough to stop bots from illegally reselling tickets on its platform. Sources tell Bloomberg that the investigation is focused on Ticketmaster's compliance with the law meant to prevent automated ticket resales. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Dan Schwartzman on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Ah, fall is here. Baseball, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine their needs. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree Experts at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meyer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL, only on KMOX.
Yes, indeed. Lots of football to talk about, no doubt about it. Let's get our attention now to traffic. Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's definitely busy out there, Tom, right now. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, Lindbergh at Baptist Church. That's where they were reporting on. Originally it was Tesson Ferry, but Baptist Church working to wrap up an earlier crash. Northbound 55, you've got slow traffic north of Merrimack Bottom, at least in the right lanes up toward 270. We had a minor crash south of Butler Hill, and then the Union Road overpass to River to Pears backed up north 270 from Tesson Ferry through Gravois, really all the way up to Manchester. It's not as bad north of there. South 270 south of Olive down to 64 is slow. Southbound 61 approaching Highway P onto 64 through Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and then east of 364 past Winghaven is pretty busy right now. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, that's one of the bright spots out in St. Charles County. It looks good. Wentzville all the way in through Highway 270 downtown. We've got delays westbound 5570. In fact, there's a minor crash reported near Exchange, so you're actually jammed now on westbound 5570 from 111 to Exchange. After that, it's a little heavy on the Poplar. Seeing some delays northbound Tesson Ferry, Butler Hill up through Kennerly, eastbound 30, slow from Mauer up to 270. There's also a little backup Northwest Boulevard headed into Gravois Bluffs, a little to the west of there. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 6:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. We do have a slight bit of a cool down coming, but not yet, right?
Not yet. No, Debbie, we're going to have to go through 3 more days of heat, and I'm saying heat, 90-plus heat today, tomorrow, and Thursday before it trims back into the 80s for Friday and into the weekend. Sun-filled skies today. The high temperature gets to 93. Tonight will be clear, and some of the cooler suburbs will get down below 60 into the upper 50s, 67 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunny, hot about 91. Hottest day for the rest of the week. Thursday, ahead of a weak front, sunshine and some clouds up to 95. As that front slides through, there'll be more clouds than sun on Friday, and with it, maybe a thunderstorm. Not much rain, though. The high 86. We could use a lot more than we're going to get, by the way. A stray morning shower with thunderstorms Saturday, otherwise some sunshine, the high in the upper 80s. 66 at St. Peter, 69 at Florissant, mainly clear, 70 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:42 on Total Information AM. Checking our latest headlines. Searchers have discovered the wreckage of a schooner that sank during a Lake Michigan storm almost 140 years ago.
The ship, called the F.J. King, was a nearly 150-foot, 3-masted schooner built in 1867. It carried cargo across the Great Lakes for 19 years before going down during a gale off Wisconsin's Door Peninsula while moving iron ore from Escanaba, Michigan to Chicago. Its captain and an unclear number of crew members all survived the sinking.
They've been looking for the shipwreck since the 1970s. The Great Lakes are home to anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 shipwrecks most of which remain undiscovered, according to the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Wisconsin Water Library.
Yeah, we tell you those stories about the 3-year-old ordering 600 Amazon pencils on their parents' phone without parents knowing, and it's pretty funny until it happens to you. A new survey has found that it's happened to 1 out of 3 American parents, and on average, those unauthorized shopping sprees have cost families about $170. 1 in 5 parents say it was more like $300. Some of the bigger ticket items, kids have purchased smartphones and even cryptocurrency.
Maybe give your kids something other than your phone to occupy their time.
Although they can do it, with an Alexa as well.
Oh, they sure can. You're right. A pop star is explaining some unique bling.
It's a little bit funny.
You could say exactly that about the gold pendant Elton John's been wearing around his neck.
That's the right kneecap. That's my right patella.
Yeah.
My surgeon said I had the worst knees he's ever operated on. That hole was actually in my kneecap.
In a new documentary, Touched by Gold, he says that after double replacements, he brought his bones to his jeweler, Theo Fennell.
We had to bake them to dry them out.
Okay.
Then they get rather like pumice stone. They're very porous. And so we had to paint them with acetate and then just polish them up.
Written on the flip side in Latin.
We wanted a thing saying, I will no longer bow to any man, which of course you can't do with a kneecap missing.
Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The Cardinals playing tonight. They are taking on the Cincinnati Reds at Busch Stadium. Just 5 games remaining in the season, believe it or not, for the home schedule for the Cardinals. They're going to go on the road to wrap things up at San Francisco and to Chicago at Wrigley Field. Let's get the latest from KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Cardinals pitcher Matthew Liberatore gives the team a quality start, throwing 6 strong innings, allowing 3 runs, 2 earned on 4 hits with 6 strikeouts and just 1 walk in the club's 11-6 loss to the Reds. He's able to pitch through his entire outing without losing velocity, which had been an issue for him recently. Manager Oliver Marmol thinks that it's a very good performance.
I liked a lot. You look at the average velo, he hasn't done that since middle of June. He's mid-90s, located it well. The cutter was a good pitch for him, spun it well. So overall, for him to go out there, get 6 punch-outs, walk 1, and give us a good look for 6 was pretty impressive.
It's the first time Liberatore has completed 6 innings since June 29th, spanning his last 11 starts. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Well, Matt, if he was that good, how did they lose the game? Chris Roycroft, a third of an inning, 3 runs allowed. That's how. John King, 2/3 scoreless. Then Ryan Fernandez took the loss, a third of an inning, gave up a run, a hit, walked 2. Kyle Leahy, 4 runs allowed in an inning. You get the picture. The Cardinals bullpen failed them as they lost it 11-6. Back at it today at 6:45. Saturday at 6 o'clock, Mizzou and South Carolina at Faurot Field. That's a good matchup. This one's even better. Number 9, Illinois at number 19, Indiana. 6:30 kick on Saturday night. The 9th-ranked Illini, the talk of the Big Ten right now, along with 3 teams ranked ahead of them, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. Here's the voice of the Illini, Brian Barnhart.
And Illinois has been steadily building under Brett Bielema. Had a great run last year to the Citrus Bowl and beat South Carolina. And so let me tell you, Tom, it was buzzing yesterday in Champaign-Urbana. The tailgate lots were buzzing from 7 a.m. all day, and the place was packed. We've got a couple of more sellouts coming up already, and it's going to be hard to get a ticket here if this keeps going.
They're going to be taking on Ohio State in Champaign, but before that, a big matchup against Indiana this Saturday. There's also Blues training camp opening at Centene Community Ice Center, and GM Doug Armstrong eventually will be replaced by Alex Steen. He's grooming him to be the next GM.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this transformation of Alex, the player, to Alex, the manager or management. He's got a wealth of knowledge on the ice, and now we're trying to round out the off ice things. And he's got a great mind for the game, a great mind for the business of the game too. And I've enjoyed working with him. Looking forward to working with him over the next few years as he becomes a manager and puts his own mark on this franchise. And I think I give Mr. Stillman a ton of credit for doing something that's not quite honestly normal in pro sports. But I think we're going to be the benefactor of having such a smart young man, young mind with his experience on the ice in our organization and running it as a general manager soon.
Blues think they have a good young team right now, building a roster and trying to become a contender for another Stanley Cup. I'm Tom Ackerman. Who's hot, who's not, brought to you by St. Louis Composting. St. Louis Composting, right here in 9 different locations in the St. Louis area. They are ready for you. All you have to do is go to stlcompost.com to find the location near you, and you can pick up mulch, soil, compost. You can drop off yard waste at any of those 9 locations in the St. Louis area, or you can have everything delivered. You can just go to stlcompost.com, whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags. St. Louis Composting provides an extensive selection. Also, this is fall. Halloween's coming. Each year, 1.3 billion pounds of pumpkins end up in landfills. Don't toss your pumpkin. Bring it to STL Compost, and they will recycle it starting October 1st. You can start dropping off pumpkins. You get a $10 coupon towards your next purchase. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com. I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, focusing on the Siteman Kids program at St. Louis Children's Hospital, and Dr. Mohammed Abdul-Baki.
I think we're definitely one of the top brain tumor programs in the whole country and in the world as well. We are the top program in Missouri that has trained pediatric neuro-oncologists.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
The KMOX CDSC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra, is back. Next stop, Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill in Arnold, Thursday, September 18th. A limited number of fans can get an autographed picture from CDSC player Timo Bunkardel. Win great prizes, enjoy great food and a cold drink. Hot Shots in Arnold is the place to be, Thursday, September 18th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the CDSC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get you a check of the roadways and the weather. It looks like at least it's a nice breezy morning. It's going to get much hotter, though, of course. Roger Brand's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center, and I'm sure the traffic's heating up as well.
Yeah, it's getting a little busier, Debbie. You're right. This traffic reports the service of Metro Transit. If you're on southbound 61, Highway P down onto 64 through Prospect, and then through Winghaven, you've got heavy stuff after that. You're in pretty good shape. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard into about Highway K, there's slow stuff there. South 270, approaching Olive down to Ladou's, busy. North 270 from north of 55 up through Gravois, and then Big Bend up through Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, just slow stretches along the way there. Eastbound 30, busy from Mauer up the hill to 270. Northbound 55, the right lane's just kind of slow around Mattis. That part looks better. It's still backed up, though, north of Rivas up to River to Pear and downtown. That road work and a crash we had on 5570 westbound near Exchange has a backup through to 111 right now. Next update at 6:58 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
All summer long, Metro Day Passes from Metro Transit are just $5, so you can take a summer daycation anytime, because your air-conditioned, no-gas to buy super safe, super clean Chariot awaits. Buy yours at metrostlouis.org. That's metrostl.org.
It is going to be hot today and a little humid as well, a high of 93 degrees. The air quality alert kicks in at 10 this morning. It runs until 8. Tomorrow, today 93, tomorrow 91, 95 on Thursday. Right now it is clear and 67 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52, claiming Governor Pritzker crossed a dangerous line with what it calls hateful rhetoric. The Illinois Freedom Caucus files a resolution for his impeachment. The group alleges his comments after the assassination of Charlie Kirk are part of a pattern that incites political violence. Members are now appealing to lawmakers on both sides of the aisle for support.
President Trump's plan to send National Guard to Memphis being cheered by those Illinois Republicans and opposed by Illinois Democrats. Nancy Hardy has more on an effort to get a sense of the political leanings of the troops themselves.
About 2/3 of political donations made by people who said they work for the National Guard went to Republicans. That's according to the Sun-Times, which looked at more than $525,000 contributed to federal campaigns since 2023. 6 Illinois National Guard members gave $700 collectively to President Trump. 3 others contributed $1,000 total to Kamala Harris. 2 Democratic donors from Illinois told the paper they do not support deploying the Guard to Chicago. One says if you want to solve violence, there are ways to do it, and putting people in uniforms in front of tourist areas is not it.
A Missouri senator is asking the governor for a special session to create a police group that is specifically trained to be in schools. It would be called the Missouri Rangers, and one would be stationed full-time at every school in the state. David Gregory of St. Louis says it's time to, quote, legislate solutions to stop the hatred and violence towards Christians and children. A new study finds we are using and trusting AI faster than any other technological advance of the past century. Mike DeWald reports now from Silicon Valley. The findings also have major implications for the future of the job market.
In just 2 years, AI has grown at a faster rate than the personal computer, the internet, even electricity. This is the first study of its kind and looks specifically at the use of Anthropic's Claude AI platform. Peter McCrory is head of economics at the San Francisco-based Anthropic. He says, by and large, we are becoming more comfortable.
People are increasingly willing to delegate tasks to Claude, ask Claude to translate this document from one language into another, and to entirely trust Claude to complete that task.
There's also a change in how business is using AI, away from it working in tandem with employees. San Jose State engineering professor Ahmed Benafa.
Now we are shifting from that to automation, which is replacing the human completely, because we are looking for more accurate and quick answers.
It is 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Suzanne Schindler Schillinger, also Michael Ray Dillier, Ryan Wiggins, and happy birthday to the lovely Julie Lally.
This is the best birthday ever.
Also lovely is Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria has been at this for a long time, and she is really St. Louis's real estate expert. She will sell your home, and she is so confident of that she guarantees it. A lot of agents will say, yeah, don't worry, we'll sell your home. Don't worry about it. And then it sits there and you change agents. Sometimes Gloria has people come to her and they've had 2-3 different agents who haven't been able to sell their home. Maybe you think you've got a specific challenge or an issue or a timeline or whatever it is, just call Gloria. She'll sell your home. She guarantees it. Call 314-325-6888 or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Your home sold, or she will buy it herself. In fact, Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she will pay you the difference. That's how confident she is that she will sell your home. Of course, Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Again, it's Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Find Gloria Liu at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
6:57 coming up at the top of the hour. CBS News. Prosecutors are looking at filing a capital murder charge against the Utah man jailed in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson are expected to come today. ahead of his first court hearing after he was arrested in last week's shooting. We'll get an update in just a couple of minutes. Right now, Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we're slow on southbound 61 from Highway P down to Wentzville Parkway, where it becomes bumper to bumper onto 64. Then it's just slow through Prospect, and then again east of 364 through Winghaven. Eastbound Highway 70Z up to 64, past Highway A, Lake St. Louis into K off the pace. There's a little busy traffic on 5th Street up to the Blanchette Bridge after that. If you're on northbound 270, it's bogged down as you ramp on from 55 up through Gravois, Big Bend up to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, South 270, 364 down to Ladue. That's definitely slower. Northbound 55, the right lanes north of Butler Hill to 270 are busy. There's a little slowdown approaching Rivas, then the Union Road overpass to River to Pear, pretty congested. Downtown, they have the left lane closed. I don't see any delays right now, though. Roadwork eastbound 64 as you get east of Jefferson. On the Illinois side, we have this jam on westbound 5570 from 111 up to Exchange due to roadwork and a recent crash we had there. Next update at 6:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Tuesday, the 16th of September. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Kirkwood, just one of the cities that's had questions about the senior property tax freeze.
And I have asked several times and have not gotten an answer.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Sean Malone. A body was found in a tote in North City on Thursday. What answers do police have? I've got that story coming up.
Could a grassroots effort in Missouri give voters the final say on the state's new congressional map, or will the legislature's plan to give Republicans another House seat stand?
Temporary layoffs are coming for most workers at the GM assembly plant in Wentzville.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Another hot day today with plenty of sunshine and a high of 93.
Cards have a home game. We'll get the latest on them and venture into some football and hockey at 7:15.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Israel has begun an expanded ground offensive in Gaza City. Correspondent MTS Tayeb has our top story from the foreign desk.
Israel's military has started what it's called the main step of its ground invasion of Gaza City, where entire neighborhoods have already been reduced to ruins, and hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have been forced to flee. It comes as Israeli leaders have reacted angrily to the UN Commission of Inquiry's genocide report, denouncing it as, quote, distorted and false.
The 22-year-old suspected of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk is scheduled to make a virtual court appearance in Utah this afternoon as prosecutors prepare to file a capital murder charge, which carries the possibility of the death penalty. And we've learned more about Tyler Robinson. Correspondent Carter Evans.
A Discord spokesman and two law enforcement sources told CBS News an account appearing to belong to the suspect claimed responsibility for the shooting in a group chat around 2 hours before his arrest last Thursday.
The Salt Lake County District Attorney says a 71-year-old man in the crowd at Utah Valley University who claimed to be the shooter was actually what he calls a gadfly who did it to draw attention away from the actual gunman. President Trump is sending federal agents into Memphis to crack down on violent crime.
The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals.
The Trump administration's already deployed National Guard troops to patrol the streets of other Democratic-led cities, L.A. and Washington, D.C. Memphis will be the first with a Republican governor, Bill Lee. The president is suing the New York Times for $15 billion, claiming defamation.
The suit accuses the Times of spreading false content about Trump and acting as a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, citing its front page endorsement of Kamala Harris last fall and several of its articles critical of the president. The lawsuit comes after the Times ran stories about the crude birthday note Trump allegedly wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. The note had Trump's signature on it, but he claims he didn't write it.
I call it the Epstein hoax.
In July, Trump sued the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion for its reporting about that note. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Sunbathers at California's Santa Monica Pier are encountering a strange sight: neon pink waves. Researchers have dumped batches of non-toxic dye into the water. UCLA's Gabriella Carr.
The beach is really wide here, so it's like pretty obviously having an impact on how water moves here. It's still reducing how the waves crash here. That could have impacts on understanding why the water quality is so bad here.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It is now 7:04, and in downtown St. Louis, we've got clear skies. It is now 66 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. It's the time of year when towns decide what their tax rates are going to be. And as KMOX checked in on the City Council and Board of Aldermen meetings across St. Louis County, we found a trend.
Finance directors from Shrewsbury to Town and Country are wondering about the impact of the senior property tax freeze. St. Louis County's been going through the applications.
And I have asked several times and have not gotten an answer, and been forwarded on and to other people at the county and have not gotten an answer back yet. So my guess is they don't have an answer yet on that.
Kirkwood Finance Director Mary Sprung. Many cities in St. Louis County say home valuations are way up, which would mean a huge increase in property tax proceeds, except a state taxpayer protection amendment limits those increases this year to about 3%. But towns say they can't figure out how far to dial back their rates until they know how many seniors get to dial back their payments. Kirkwood Councilwoman Gina Jasetic notes that other taxing jurisdictions are also in limbo.
And obviously the school district has the same, no doubt, challenge as we go into this year.
This week, several St. Louis County communities have property tax rates on their town council agendas. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A nonpartisan coalition has filed a referendum petition with the Missouri Secretary of State aiming to give voters the final say on the state legislature's approved congressional redistricting map. The Trump-backed congressional districts are designed to give Missouri Republicans another U.S. House seat next year, possibly making the state's political representation 7 Republicans versus 1 Democrat. Richard Von Glahn with People Not Politicians Missouri says at least 107,000 valid signatures in 6 of 8 congressional districts are required to be collected by December 11th.
Missourians should pick our elected officials. Elected officials shouldn't pick who they wish to represent in Missouri. So you've seen rallies and actions across the state of thousands of people speaking out about this. This is simply about how democracy should work.
A common Republican argument is that the people have voted for lawmakers to make these legislative decisions.
After human remains were found in a tote in North St. Louis City, questions linger.
The remains were discovered Sunday afternoon on the 4900 block of Harney Avenue, and so far, police can only say it was a female who was found inside. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says they are still dealing with the early stages of the investigation.
The autopsy, which is happening, if it's not happening right now, it's happening at some point today, which will help our detectives figure out how this woman died. And then the next thing is going to be determining who left her there.
McCoy says there is no indication at this time these remains are connected to the bones found on the 5600 block of Labadie late last week. No identification of either victim has been made. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Police in Des Peres are identifying the sound that triggered Saturday's active shooter scare at West County Mall. That's the sound. They say it wasn't a gunshot, but the sound of a chair falling over during a fight in the food court. A review of security video confirms there is no evidence a shot was ever fired, though the noise did cause a lot of panic and a lockdown of the mall.
Temporary layoffs are coming for most workers at the GM assembly plant in Wentzville. According to a joint letter from plant leadership and UAW Local 2250, the shutdown is due to a shortage of parts. The layoffs are scheduled to run from September 29th through October 19th, and affected employees will receive unemployment and subpay benefits.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The high cost of home insurance is impacting the housing market. According to a survey of home buyers by Realtor.com, 42% have experienced a hike in their home insurance costs. 88% think they will be paying even more in the future. And 75% believe eventually homeowners insurance could become completely unaffordable. A majority of those surveyed would likely just not have insurance if the costs get too high. Climate change is recognized as a major factor in weather-related disasters that affect insurance costs, and that is impacting where people are looking for homes. Younger generations, more so than boomers, are reconsidering some parts of the country because of it.
It is 7:09. We're going to check traffic and weather right here on Total Information AM.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for 213 Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores. With school back in session, you're into a new routine. That routine's going to last. Make it a fitness routine as well. I know that's what I'm doing in advance of the holidays, and I'm using 213 Complex to get it done because what I'm getting is all-day boost to the metabolism, 24 hours a day. I get appetite control, which is huge for me, and all-day focused energy that comes with no jitters. So for you, just go to Supplement Superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will give you 30% off the 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence, Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 7-Eleven. Roger Brand, you're in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another time we got a little trouble on eastbound 70 now. First of all, if you're coming in from out west, you have slow traffic, David Hokel into Wentzville Parkway. It's slow again. Approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard into about Bryan Road, a little busy around T.R. Hughes, and then a jam at 94. There's a crash. EMS on the scene. Eastbound 70 on the Blanchette Bridge. The two left lanes are shut down there. That jam's bound to get worse before it gets better, of course. Southbound 61. Stop-and-go pockets approaching Highway P down to Wentzville Parkway onto 64. Busy through Prospect, Lake St. Louis Boulevard. East of 364, most of the way into Highway K is off the pace. If you're on southbound 270, north of Olive down to Ladou's, busy. North 270 as you ramp on from 55, both sides of Gravois, and then 44 most of the way up to Ladou is pretty heavy. Eastbound 30, West Watson to 270, slow. Chesson Ferry, Butler Hill up through Kennerly looks heavy. Northbound 55, you've got the delays approaching 67. The right lane's busy at Butler Hill at Jam. Union Road up to River to Pear and downtown. Westbound 5570, Jam, Western 111 through Exchange due to roadwork and a recent crash. Next update at 7:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunshine today and hot and still rather humid, the high 93. Tonight will be clear, lows ranging from 56 in some of the cooler suburbs to 67 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and remaining hot, high 91. Thursday, sunny to partly cloudy and hot with a high of 95. The record is 97, set at 1925. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's a nice sunny morning with a little bit of a breeze, 66 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. Prosecutors are looking at filing a capital murder charge against the Utah man jailed in the killing of prominent conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson are expected to come today ahead of his first court hearing after he was arrested in last week's shooting.
The Illinois Freedom Caucus claims Governor Pritzker has engaged in hateful rhetoric and crossed a line, and they have filed a resolution for the governor's impeachment. They claim he made comments after the assassination of Charlie Kirk that's a pattern that incites political violence. Members are appealing to lawmakers for support.
Local Hispanic leaders gathered outside St. Louis City Hall yesterday morning to mark the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. A special flag created by local artist Jose Garza was hoisted just under the American flag. Here's Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez.
May this flag fly high across above our city as a reminder that Hispanic heritage is American heritage, and that when we come together, there is nothing we cannot overcome.
Velasquez says the Latino population increased by 14,000 from 2022 to 2023.
Senator Josh Hawley wants new ICE agents to be trained in Missouri, sending a letter to the Department of Homeland Security promoting Fort Leonard Wood as a prime location to train thousands of new federal officers. He argues the fort has the infrastructure and capacity and is already a hub for military police training.
A Missouri senator is asking the governor for a special session to create a police group that is specially trained to be in schools. It would be called the Missouri Rangers, and one would be stationed full-time in every school in the state. David Gregory of St. Louis says it's time to, quote, legislate solutions to stop the hatred and violence towards Christians and children.
Roadside emergency responders and bystanders helping them get new protections under a new state law. Representative Jay Hoffman of Swansea sponsored the set of additions to the Move Over law.
You're not only going to have to move over and make sure that it's safe for the emergency workers if they're working on in an emergency capacity or if they're on the side of the road, even if the vehicle is moving in some manner, or if there are individuals who are out helping another individual.
It doesn't matter if it's a firefighter, tow truck driver, or good Samaritan. The law in Illinois is now to change lanes to get out of the way, or if you're boxed in, significantly slow down your speed.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. A back-and-forth game last night was broken open with a 4-run ninth inning by the Reds, 3 runs scoring on a double by Tyler Stevenson, and Cincinnati beat the Cardinals 11-6.
And what a shame for Matthew Liberatore, who pitched so well. He ended up getting a quality start, went 6 innings. And the other thing about Liberatore is he was throwing 95 miles an hour even into that 6th inning. And he was the pitcher of record, but the Cardinals bullpen, a tired bullpen, I think, wasn't able to shut the door.
It was Chris Roycroft giving up 3 runs. Ryan Fernandez gave up a run, and he absorbed the loss to go 0-4. And then Kyle Leahy came in. He's worked a lot lately, and he was tagged for 4.
You say it all the time. Walks kill you, especially late in games, and the Cardinals bullpen not throwing strikes.
Though the Cardinals dropped round 1 of the 3-game series to the Reds, 11-6 the final. It's Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati, Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals, on the air at 5:50 tonight.
Blues training camp opens Thursday. Players report tomorrow to Centene Community Ice Center, and GM Doug Armstrong, I had a visit with him recently about this young team that is emerging into a veteran group. I'm curious, do you see leadership qualities in some of your younger players already? Is there anybody that's emerging in that area?
Yeah, to me, it's Jake Neighbors. Jake is someone that he just, if once you get to know him, his personality is you gravitate towards his personality. He had ability to function in all aspects of the married people, the younger people, the older people. Very comfortable talking to the management. The coaches, he has natural leadership qualities, and then there's other players, but that would be one name to me that steps up as a younger player that's finding his own, that we're hoping can help the younger players as they get in here become pros, know what it means to be a Blue, but that starts with being a good player on the ice, and so he's a player that I have a lot of expectations for, both on and off the ice.
They get right into it in the NHL. The Blues will open camp with a practice on Thursday, and on Saturday they'll visit the Dallas Stars for their first exhibition game, and the Columbus Blue Jackets on Sunday September 21st. The Blues will have their first home preseason game coming up on Saturday, the 27th, when they host the Blackhawks at Enterprise Center. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX. The player to bank on was brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Frank, did you get the mail?
Coupon, Medicare, AARP. Oh, wait, this one says open immediately.
First one in the trash.
Every day we're bombarded with messages that we don't care about. Problem is, there might be an important message in there that affects you, like retirement. For example, on September 23rd and 25th, Steve All of the All Financial Group will be hosting a Taxes in Retirement seminar at Stone Summit. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will cover it. It's a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
What about this coupon for a new lawn service?
We live in a condo.
So?
On the 3rd floor. Mom always said I shouldn't have married you.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional or guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:20 and time for traffic and weather. So let's check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're making headway with this crash eastbound 70 on the Blanchette Bridge, Debbie. First of all, eastbound 70 still slow from 64 all the way in through to about 79, and it jams east of Zumbel up to the bridge. But now just the left lane is shut down instead of the 2 left lanes. So that's helping volume get through there a little more easily. But the jam is slowly growing in that area, unfortunately. Southbound 61 south of Highway P, down onto 64 to the Boulevard, 364 through Winghaven's all busy, 364 through Gudamuth looks a little heavy. Eastbound 64 Clarkson into Timberlake to about 141 Maryville Center area. There's just a couple of slow spots again at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Hanley's heavier. South 270 south of 364 to Ladue. North 270 jams as you ramp on from 55 to Gravois, and then 44 to Ladue heavy after that. Northbound 55 the right lanes. Briefly north of Merrimack Bottom, and then Butler Hilton to 270. All lanes north of Rivas to River to Pear are congested, and 5570 downtown west of 111 jammed into Exchange, but it remains heavy west of there across the Poplar. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says the air quality alert from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. today is because of, well, heat and humidity. A high of 93 today. Tonight, clear. Lows ranging from the mid-50s in the coolest suburbs to the mid-60s downtown at the Arch. And then tomorrow, sunny and hot again with a high of 91. The sun is up. It is warming up. It's 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. And the weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The news continues at 7:22. CBS News confirming a Washington Post report that the suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination appeared to confess in an online group chat before his arrest. Here's CBS's Carter Evans.
For now, investigators say the suspected shooter is believed to have acted alone, and we're expecting to learn more about that later today in court. Also today, FBI Director Kash Patel is expected to face questions about his agency's handling of the case when he testifies on Capitol Hill.
Reporters and even an Office Depot employee have lost their jobs after their public remarks about Charlie Kirk's killing. Some conservatives see Kirk as a free speech champion and are using similar tactics they once criticized to target people and organizations pushing for firings and punishments. Attorneys note First Amendment protections are generally limited for workers in the private sector. 8 states do have laws to protect employees from being fired for their conduct off the job, including their political speech and activity, but most do not.
Among those 8 states is Missouri.
President Trump says he ordered the military to attack a boat he claims was carrying illegal drugs from Venezuela to the U.S. It's the second time in a month the United States has struck a Venezuelan boat allegedly carrying drugs. Here's Charlie D'Agata.
Video posted on President Trump's Truth Social account shows what appears to be a stationary vessel in open water. Seconds later, an explosion leaves it engulfed in flames, the result of what Trump said was a targeted U.S. military strike against identified Venezuelan narco-terrorists on Monday morning.
We have proof. All you have to do is look at the cargo that was like it's spattered all over the ocean. Big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place.
The president said 3 people were killed aboard the boat.
Israel says it has launched the main phase of its offensive to destroy Hamas in Gaza City. This, as a United Nations Commission of Inquiry report says that it finds Israel has committed genocide in Gaza. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb reports from London.
The 4 acts Israel is accused of committing since the start of the war with Hamas, following the brutal 2023 October 7th attacks, include killing members of a group, causing them serious bodily and mental harm, deliberately inflicting conditions calculated to destroy the group, and preventing births. The report not only cites the pattern of conduct by Israeli forces as evidence of, quote, genocidal intent, but also the statements of Israeli leaders.
President Trump filing a $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times.
The suit accuses the Times of spreading false content about Trump and acting as a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, citing its front page endorsement of Kamala Harris last fall and several of its articles critical of the president. The lawsuit comes after the Times ran stories about the crude birthday note Trump allegedly wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. The note had Trump's signature on it, but he claims he didn't write it.
I call it the Epstein hoax.
In July, Trump sued the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion for its reporting about that note. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
U.S. and Chinese officials say they have agreed to the outlines of a deal to resolve the question of TikTok's ownership. Last year, Congress passed and then President Biden signed a bill that would force TikTok's China-based parent company to divest from it, or the social media platform would be banned in the U.S. Supporters of the bill claim there's a potential national security risk, while opponents say no evidence of actual harm has been provided and that a ban would violate users' free speech. CBS senior business and technology correspondent Jolene Kent with more.
There are very few details on what this framework actually is, but what we know is Treasury Secretary Bessent has said, as well as the Chinese side, by the way, have said a broad framework has been struck. Bessent saying that the commercial terms of the deal have also been determined, but declined to say if it includes the sale of TikTok to a U.S. company or entity, or if that sale would include the sale of the algorithm.
We are getting word right now that Hollywood icon Robert Redford has died. Actor Robert Redford, dead at the age of 89. We'll get more information and the life of Robert Redford coming up as we continue Total Information AM. We are learning more about how we use AI and the potential opportunities and risks it poses in the workplace. Mike DeWald reports from San Francisco. It's a technology that's being adopted faster than maybe any other in history.
It took electricity 30 years to reach homes across the country. The internet took about 5. AI has matched that pace in just 2 years. This new report from the San Francisco-based Anthropic looking at how its Claude AI platform is used around the world. For starters, Anthropic head of economics Peter McCrory says there's been a big jump in how comfortable we are in delegating tasks to AI.
These models are becoming much more impressive. There is a larger and larger scope of things that they can do, and they can do well.
There's also an economics gap, with places with higher incomes using AI more. Ahmed Benafa is an engineering professor at San Jose State University. He says that adds to the pressure to keep up.
It's not a choice.
It's a must. At the same time, 3/4 of companies using the OpenAI competitor software are using it to replace employees over having them work alongside it.
It's 7:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
There is an event coming up that I would love for you to take advantage of. And it is coming up on Monday and Tuesday, the 22nd and 23rd. And it's going to help you. It's going to help your pocketbook and help your retirement. It's a free event called Maximizing Social Security, and it's being put on by Sachs Financial. Jeff Sachs and his team know that for more than 90% of all recipients who get Social Security benefits, they don't maximize those benefits. Now, when Jeff Sachs told me that, I was like, I don't even know what that means, because it is what it is, right? But you could be looking at maybe $100,000 one way or the other, depending on how you are making decisions about your Social Security. So at this workshop, which is taking place at the Lodge de Pere, again, this coming Monday and Tuesday, you're going to learn all about the system, how to coordinate spousal and survival benefits, minimizing your taxes, maximizing your personal benefits. Whether you're single, married, divorced, or widowed, there may be ways to maximize the lifetime Social Security benefits that you get, which is an important foundation of your retirement savings. So it's a free event. Sachs Financial doing this Monday and Tuesday at 6:30 at the Lodge de Pere. You only have to go one day, so it's not a 2-day thing, but you have a choice of your days. And all you need to do is go to retiresafestl.com/events. Maximizing your Social Security. Register today at retiresafestl.com/events.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
At 7:30, we have 68 degrees and a sunny sky in downtown St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got some good news on eastbound 70 now. They cleared that crash on the Blanchette Bridge about 5 minutes ago. All lanes are open. Eastbound 70, though, is slow. David Hochul into Wentzville Parkway from Highway A all the way into 79, and it's still jammed approaching Zumbel 394 5th Street, opening up at about that point. Southbound 61, midway down from P to Wentzville Parkway onto 64. The Boulevard's busy. 364 past Winghaven, almost midway into K's slow. Eastbound 364, east of Bryan Road in through Gudermuth, almost to Mid Rivers is heavy. Eastbound 64 in St. Louis County from about Annie Guns, east of Boone's Crossing. There's heavy pockets into Maryville Center, east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt's bogged down at Delmar. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley, slow. South 270, 364 to Ladue, busy. North 270 backs up as you ramp on from 55, but basically just off the pace all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 44, Bowles up through Miraz is a little busy. Northbound 55, the right lanes. South of Butler Hill, and of course down south we have a jam now on northbound 55 from just north of 61 up to 67. Right lanes, like I said, at Butler Hill, and then you're backed up from Green Park solid all the way to River de Pere. And downtown 5570 is at 111, so 64. Heavy pockets, so 5570 actually worsened at 203, but it's slow across the Poplar. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast, we're looking at an air quality alert from 10 a.m. through 8 p.m. today. Sunny and hot, humid, high 93. Clear tonight, lows ranging from the upper 50s in the coolest suburbs to the mid 60s downtown at the Arch. And tomorrow, another sunny and hot day and a high of 91. Currently, it's sunny, 68 downtown at the Arch.
And in the news today, we have stories about the UAW, United Auto Workers in Wentzville, will be temporarily laid off.
According to a joint letter from the Wentzville plant's executive director and the United Auto Workers Local 2250 chairman, the plant will be experiencing temporary layoffs from September 29th through October 19th. The letter says these layoffs are due to parts availability and will affect the majority of their team across all trades and shifts. Unemployment and subpay will come to the auto workers through their union's benefits and labor relations team. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX reaching out to the UAW Local 2250 for further comment.
We delivered us over there to GM all the time, so that's a very unfortunate event.
That's reaction to the news of the GM layoffs, however temporary, from Courtney Tarrant at Wentzville restaurant Stefanina's. She tells Fox 2 they usually make a lot of pizza deliveries to workers at the plant.
It's not the smallest community ever, but we're not a big city either, so whenever something as big as GM shuts down in our town, that can be a big deal.
The plant, which builds trucks and vans like the GMC Canyon and GMC Savannah, employs 4,600 people.
Webster Groves-based Telly Tire and Auto has added to its location totals with new stores in Chesterfield and Baldwin. There are now 27 Telly sites, 16 in the St. Louis region. The first Telly Tire opened on Big Bend in 1942. When Aaron Telly took over as CEO in 2009, he began expanding the operation mostly through acquisitions. According to the Business Journal, Aaron is the fourth generation running the company.
Again, Robert Redford has died at the age of 89. Hollywood actor, Oscar-winning director, activist, and really considered to be the godfather for independent cinema. Founded the Sundance Film Festival and starred in such films as a leading man as Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid, received a nomination for Best Actor as an Academy Award nominee for his performance in The Sting. He went on to become an Academy Award winner. Ordinary People was his directorial film debut, Best Picture, Best Director. Also, A River Runs Through It. I mean, you can just go right through the list. Me personally, The Natural was a phenomenal baseball movie. And just on and on it goes. The life of Robert Redford. He has passed away at the age of 89.
It is now 7:35, and we'll get you caught up on your money report and so much more here on Total Information AM.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
736, your money report sponsored by Busey Bank.
Good morning. It's a big day today as the Federal Reserve opens its two-day policy meeting with President Trump's economic advisor joining the central bankers. The Senate fast-tracked Stephen Myron's confirmation so he could take part in the session, though it's unclear how long Myron will remain with the Fed as he's taken an unpaid leave of absence from his White House position. Meanwhile, an appeals court blocked Trump's effort to oust Fed Governor Lisa Cook ahead of the meeting. That case is expected to head to the Supreme Court. The August retail sales report will be released by the government before the markets open this morning. Economists think we'll hear that overall sales rose 0.2%. TikTok will continue to be available in the U.S. As Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said, President Trump's threat to let the popular app go dark helped to seal a deal that will see the platform's American operation be run by U.S. companies while severing connections with its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Dan Schwartzman on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Since we opened our doors in 1868, Busey has fostered deep customer relationships and vibrant communities, embodying a legacy of partnership and progress. With multiple lines of business, we provide a range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. From digital banking to planning for retirement, Busey is here to help you achieve your financial goals. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
The one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Genesis of St. Charles, the number one Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025, has a big announcement. They are calling this the all-out sellout. It has arrived. What is the all-out sellout? Genesis of St. Charles is out to break all sales records in September. Tell you what, I wouldn't put it past them. They absolutely could do that. This month only, receive a $500 gift card with any new vehicle purchase. I'll repeat that. A $500 gift card with any new vehicle purchase at Genesis of St. Charles. You want to trade? They are offering more for your pre-owned vehicle than ever before, and every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. You can schedule this easily online by going to genesisofstcharles.com, but as I've told you many times, I think you should experience the luxury service at their state-of-the-art facility for yourself. It's right off of Veterans Memorial Parkway, Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and I-70. It's genesisofstcharles.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Celebrate the month of September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning as well. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of these huge savings. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. Always spells the same. Zero Res.
It is now time to check that forecast as well as the traffic. It's going to heat up today, but we do have a little bit of a cool down on the way by the weekend. So that's something to look forward to. Maybe you're not looking forward to the ride in this morning. Let's see how it looks. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with Roger Brand.
Well, busy for sure, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Southbound 79 from the Quiver River coming out of Old Mill Road down to North Main Street, pretty busy. Southbound 61 north of Wentzville Parkway down onto 64. Eastbound 70 David Hokel Parkway most of the way to 79, 94 into the Rock Road. Eastbound 64 from 70 up through the Winghaven area. There's slow stuff 94 Research Park. Boone's Crossing past Clarkson, Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. South 270 Dorset down to Ladue is busy. North 270 55 up to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 44 west of 141 up through to Miraz is heavy. Northbound 55, that jam north of 61, most of the way to 67. The right lane's at Butler Hill. And south of Rivas up to River to Paris, stop and go. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64 Kings Highway headed out to Big Bend is heavy. And on the Illinois side, 5570 and 64 delays 111 across the Poplar. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, what's the latest in our forecast?
The latest in the forecast, Tom, is that heat's going to continue for at least 3 more days before it gets trimmed back for Friday and into the weekend. We're going to do it today with pretty sunny skies start to finish. Our high temperature 93, then tonight should be clear with light winds and a little drier air mass. Will actually drop into the 50s in some suburbs, probably about 67 at the Arch. As we go through the day tomorrow, another hot day with lots of sunshine. Our high temperature 91. Hottest day, that's Thursday ahead of a weak front, up to 95 with sunshine and some clouds. As that front moves through on Friday, we expect more clouds and a brief shower or thunderstorm in places, the high of 86. Maybe a shower or thunderstorm early Saturday. Then it turns partly sunny and very warm with highs in the upper 80s. Right now, 66 in St. Peter's, 70 in Florissant. Off to a sunny start at the Arch, 71 degrees. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:43, and the news continues on KMOX. They finally figured out what to do with a prime piece of Times Square real estate, turn it into a real-life Central Perk. Warner Brothers transforming a 3,000 square foot space at 20 Times Square into the iconic Friends Cafe as an immersive experience, which of course means an entry fee and some really pricey cappuccinos. The bonus is it's in the same building as the Hershey's store.
Already. Fans of Puerto Rico's Bad Bunny are getting a free online show.
When Bad Bunny wraps up his residency in San Juan Saturday night, the concert will be live streamed free of charge through Amazon Music. That means fans will be able to watch on the app, on the Amazon Music Twitch channel, or Prime Video. The final show will commemorate the 8th anniversary of Hurricane Maria on the island in 2017. Bad Bunny kicks off his world tour in the Dominican Republic in November. Last week, he explained he'll skip the U.S. to avoid the chance of ICE raids. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I'm going to venture a guess. There might be some listeners asking, who is Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny is just,
He's
the
huge.
first non-English language artist to be Spotify's most streamed artist of the year for 3 consecutive years. He's also the first Latin artist to have over 100 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 chart.
Well, from Bad Bunny to this.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle.
I know. It's not because we're talking about Christmas. We're not pushing it here at KMOX, but it's because 168 years ago today, James Pierpont copyrighted the song One Horse Open Sleigh. Although the song is associated with Christmas as Jingle Bells, it doesn't actually mention Christmas in the song.
Huh.
Some unconfirmed sources say the song was written with Thanksgiving in mind. And here's a 4th verse. And I think there might be a typo in here, but I'm not sure. Now the ground is white. Get it, go. It says go it, but I think it might be get it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing this sleighing song.
Okay. I'm all for a Thanksgiving song. I've always said Thanksgiving doesn't get enough love.
I agree. Over the River into the Woods is probably
we need
the
some
only Thanksgiving-y song.
Yeah. 7:45 right now. Let's talk some baseball. Let's start and we'll get into some football and hockey. Matt Pauley with the latest on the Cardinals. Their third baseman back, Matt.
Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado is activated off the injured list prior to the team's 11-6 loss to the Reds. It's his first major league appearance since July 30th, as he has been out with a shoulder and a finger issue. In his return, he goes 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI while playing a strong defensive third base. Manager Oliver Marmol is happy to have Arenado back.
I loved it. He made a nice play there that saved a couple more runs. I mean, we were already down, but he did a nice job at third. He's done that all year and then swung the bat well and drove in that run. But it's I'm really happy to see him back in that lineup.
Arenado is currently on a 69-game errorless streak at third base that ties his career high with Colorado. It is the longest active streak among Major League third basemen and the second longest streak by a Cardinal third baseman ever, behind Gary Gaetti, who did it during parts of 1997 and 1998. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, do we go to hockey? I had a chance to visit with GM Doug Armstrong of the Blues. They opened training camp on Thursday.
We're progressing. I like the internal growth. I was talking to a coffee with a player this morning, and we just talked about Morgan Holloway coming in last year sort of expedited our growth. And, without those players, we were probably looking at inputting some of our young players and having them grow on the job.
But right now it looks like they're a contender. You know who is? Illinois. They're number 9 in the country in college football, and they're going to try to make a statement this weekend at number 19, Indiana. One of these teams will emerge as an early college football playoff candidate. The reason to appreciate Illinois right now, their quarterback play, Luke Altmaier. Here's the voice of the Illini, Brian Barnhart.
Well, no interceptions. He had a couple more touchdown passes last night, so we think he's up to 8 touchdowns this year. A different variety of receivers. He threw one late to Ashton Hollins, who had not caught one all year, late in the game, and just spreading it around. The running game was a little slow the last 2 weeks. They got off to a slow start against Duke, and then it picked up, and Caden Fagan wound up hitting 100 yards late as they kind of ground down the Broncos last night. But Altmaier is so steady. You go back to last year, Tommy had 22 touchdowns and 6 picks.
And he is on that pace again. He's having a terrific year. Number 9, Illinois at number 19, Indiana, Saturday night at 6:30. Number 23, Missouri hosting South Carolina Saturday at 6 o'clock. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbruck, where every day is the weekend. We spent a weekend at Innsbruck during a Mizzou weekend last year. The Oklahoma game, that was a great decision. It's always a good decision to go to Innsbruck. Innsbruck located right off I-70, off the Wright City exit, about 10 minutes from there in Warren County. You'll find a fantastic resort. So many people have told me they've enjoyed, first of all, the golf. That's kind of the entry for people. It's a public golf course. You can book a tee time and take the time to explore Innsbruck. When you go through security and you have a tee time for golf, they'll give you a pass to go into Innsbruck, and then you can check everything out. Innsbruck is a great place to unwind and just relax, play golf, fish, get away from the world for a little while. There's a lot of noise out there right now. Innsbruck doesn't have any of that. It's very peaceful. Innsbruck-resort.com, Innsbruck-resort.com.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
It's back, and you're invited to join us in Forest Park, September 19th and 20th, for the 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to New Ground International and Blue Moon Brewing Company. The 53rd Annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend. For more details, visit the events page at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, let's get you caught up right now at 7:51 with traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still slow, Debbie, on eastbound 70, David Hochul into Wentzville Parkway from Highway A all the way into 79. It's busy, and again from 94 into the Rock Road 364. From Bryan Road in through Gudermuth and the Kisker area coming in through, or Central School Kisker is pretty busy as well. And then again, across the Creve Coeur Lake Bridge, a couple of spots into 270. Southbound 61, Highway P onto 64 all the way in through Wing Haven, 94 to Research Park, Boone's Crossing past Clarkson, 270 all the way through the Interbelt. The Interbelt's bogged down at Olive, South 270, Dorset, down through Ladue and Pockets, North 270. You've got delays from 55, pretty solid there. Pockets really of stop-and-go traffic to 44. Then it's slow up through Ladue, and it's slow again. Dorset up to Highway 70 even after that. Eastbound 44, approaching 141 into 270 from Lindbergh all the way into Laclede Station is slow. Northbound 55, still heavy north of 61 up to 67. Backed up north of Lindbergh all the way up through Virginia. Downtown 5570 jams at 111. 64 at 111's heavy across the Poplar. Even Route 3 is backed up past Queenie to the bridge right now. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I see our numbers of our stream continue to pick up. I wonder if people watch on there, see us drinking coffee, maybe a little yawn on the side. You can see us, what we're doing between.
See me sneezing earlier?
You did. I didn't catch that sneeze attack that you had, or I would have jumped in for you. We have hot weather, basically. It's pretty simple. Hot and humid, high 93 today. Clear tonight, low about 65. Tomorrow, high 91. Thursday's high 95. For today, it's an air quality alert, says Joe Lundberg, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Currently, it's 68 degrees.
The news continues at 7:52. In Cole County, the first of several lawsuits over redrawing Missouri's congressional map began with lawyers for the NAACP arguing that the new map should be voided because lawmakers should have never met in special session in the first place. That lawsuit was filed as soon as Governor Kehoe called lawmakers back to heed President Trump's call to redraw the maps to gain one more congressional seat by carving up the Kansas City area held by Democrat Emanuel Cleaver. Arguments were heard by Circuit Judge Christopher Limbaugh, who did not issue a ruling or give an estimate of how long he might take. The maps will go into effect in December unless a judge strikes them down.
Missouri's county clerks and election authorities are raising concerns about the state's newly approved congressional maps. Boone County Clerk Brianna Lennon tells Missouri Net the group has sent a letter to top state officials, and that letter warns the timeline for implementing the new map could pose challenges.
We have a kind of defined timeline of when we can make these updates to voters' addresses, to districts. We don't really have the most up-to-date technology in order to do it. So it's a very tedious process. It's one that requires a lot of double checking.
The county clerks say if the map is not finalized until after January 27th, the downstream effects on elections will be significant.
The debate over St. Louis County's government headquarters, does it need a new building or can they just fix up the old one, continues in Clayton, although the latest round of discussion happened behind closed doors. Chair Rita Hurd Days at yesterday's committee meeting.
Because we are going to be speaking of specific types of transitions with Cornerstone, I move that we go into closed session.
The council later came back and simply adjourned. Closed sessions are allowed by state law to discuss real estate and business matters. The current St. Louis County Government Center violates Clayton's zoning laws by not having fire sprinklers. County Executive Page has been advocating for a new building. Some council members want to know exactly how much it would cost to retrofit the old one.
The Scouts are moving to Chesterfield, but what happens to its former Boy Scouts headquarters building in the Central West End is still a question. There have been several developers with plans that fell through. The latest plan is from Kansas-based Garrison. They have the property on West Pine under contract, and according to the Business Journal, they want to build a $51 million four-story building with 157 units of multifamily housing, plus ground floor retail. The current structure would be demolished, and that needs approval from the city.
HSHS St. Elizabeth's Hospital in O'Fallon, Illinois is undergoing some major expansion. We get more from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
Hospital officials have formally announced $116 million in major growth projects for its O'Fallon campus. $50 million will go to a new outpatient surgery center, diagnostic imaging center, and medical office building that is currently underway and is expected to be completed by October of next year. Another $66 million will be used to expand the hospital's emergency department, including 8 new emergency department treatment rooms, along with 32 new inpatient medical and surgical unit beds. St. Elizabeth's Healthcare Ministry is this year celebrating its 150th anniversary. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Traffic in 2 minutes at 7:56.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Holy onions! For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Hey, it's Jeff at Sachs Financial. I got a free event coming up to maximize your Social Security, September 22nd and 23rd. Come meet me in person and find out how to maximize your Social Security. Sign up at retiresafestl.com/events.
Scott Lee Heating's premier dealer distinction means you'll be working with the best the industry offers. Learn more about our special savings opportunities on Lennox products by calling 314-756-9444 or visit us online at scottleeheating.com.
Hey, let's get you caught up on your ride in. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling in on eastbound Highway 70W, there's still a lot of traffic. It's getting better, but east of David Hochul into Wentzville Parkway, east of 64 all the way into 79, and from 5th Street all the way into the Rock Road. Southbound 61 on to 64 through Wing Haven is pretty busy. Boone's Crossing through Clarkson from 270 all the way through the Interbelt. Eastbound 364 east of Bryan Road, headed in through Gudermuth and through that Kisker Central School area. It's kind of slow. South 270 bogs down south of Dorset down to Ladue. North 270 from 55 all the way up to Ladue, and then the right lanes again, Dorset up to 70 are kind of busy. Southbound 170 delay south of Page, about Woodson down to 64. Eastbound Highway 644 is still busy approaching 141, but the bulk of the volume's 270 all the way into Laclede Station. Northbound 55 still heavy, north of 61 into 67, north of Lindbergh all the way up through Virginia. And downtown 5570 jams west of 111 to 203, 64 heavy from 111 all the way across the Poplar. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Acting legend Robert Redford is gone. His agent says he died in his sleep at his home in the mountains outside Provo, Utah. Correspondent Steve Kathan looks back.
For decades, Robert Redford was the essence of big screen charm.
I'll jump first. No, then you jump first. No, I said. What's the matter with you? I can't swim!
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid with Paul Newman launched a string of iconic roles stretching from the 1960s into the 80s.
I'm Bob Woodward of the Washington Post.
There was All the President's Men in 1976 about Watergate. Redford was also an Oscar-winning director, the force behind the Sundance Film Festival, and involved in several environmental causes.
What made Redford a legend? Syracuse University's Robert Thompson.
Robert Redford dominated American film acting in the 1970s, from Butch Cassidy to All the President's Men, and then went on to dominate a lot of film directing in the 1980s.
Robert Redford, dead at the age of 89. The 22-year-old accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is set to appear virtually at court in Utah this afternoon. CBS's Katrina Kaufman from Provo.
The judge will be in the courtroom here at the courthouse, but he's coming in via WebEx, we've been told. This is an opportunity for him to first hear the charges against him, and we're still waiting for those final charges.
The Salt Lake County District Attorney says a 71-year-old man in the crowd at Utah Valley University who falsely claimed he killed Kirk was a known attention seeker who tried to distract authorities from the real gunman. Luigi Mangione, 27-year-old accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, is scheduled to appear at court in New York City this hour. Former federal prosecutor Lori Levinson.
What we have here is a series of issues that will be addressed in court. They range from a motion to dismiss the case, claiming that this is not a murder as an act of terrorism, to a really important motion to exclude evidence, including a handwritten manifesto
Mangione faces state and federal murder charges. In Gaza City, large explosions and flashes across the skyline as Israel began the main phase of its offensive to destroy Hamas. Never mind higher prices, Americans are still spending. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Retail sales were up by 0.6% in the month of August. That is twice the pace that was expected. And this despite sentiment indicators that show a souring of feelings about the economy.
The Federal Reserve begins a crucial 2-day meeting on interest rates today. Dow futures down 26. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, September 16th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. Cities in St. Louis County playing a waiting game to see how the senior property tax freeze will impact their property tax rates.
The info on how many seniors are getting a lower tax rate has not made its way down to the municipalities yet. Kirkwood Finance Director Mary Sprung asked about the impact.
I don't really have an answer to that.
Cities all over are finding that homes within their boundaries are seeing big jumps in their valuations. In Shrewsbury, Finance Director Dustin Siebold.
The reason you will see our rate drop significantly for residential, a lot has to do with the significant rise in the assessed valuation.
That's right. The spike in value can be so high that towns are having to dial back their tax rates to keep from collecting such a huge windfall that it would violate the state's Hancock Amendment against tax increases without a taxpayer vote. Town and Country Finance Director Joan Jadali jokes they're not going to see a decrease there.
That would not happen here in the city of Town and Country.
Towns with this issue on their plate right now range from Manchester to Olivet. They're waiting to see how the senior property tax freeze impacts their rate threshold. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
For the second time in a week, the president is mentioning his focus on St. Louis.
Yeah, we got to save St. Louis. Got to save these cities.
That was President Trump when he signed an order Monday sending the National Guard to Memphis to fight crime.
We think Chicago is going to be next, and we'll get to St. Louis also.
The National Guard has already been deployed to Washington, D.C. We're going to have more on this story coming up this morning at 8:41 when I talk with Bloomberg's Miles Miller. In Cole County, the first of several lawsuits over redrawing Missouri's congressional map began with lawyers for the NAACP arguing that the new map should be voided because lawmakers should never have met in special session in the first place. That lawsuit was filed as soon as Governor Kehoe called lawmakers back to heed President Trump's call to draw the maps to gain one more congressional seat by carving up the Kansas City area seat held for years by Democrat Emanuel Cleaver. Arguments were heard by Circuit Judge Christopher Limbaugh, who did not issue a ruling or give an estimate of how long he might take to make a ruling. The maps go into effect in December unless a judge strikes them down. Missouri's county clerks and election officials say they are worried about the state's newly approved congressional maps. Boone County Clerk Brianna Lennon tells MissouriNet the group sent a letter to state leaders raising concerns about how quickly the new maps are expected to be put into place.
If we get a map that ends up going through litigation and isn't considered like a complete finalized map until the middle of next year, for example, there are actual limitations that may prevent us from being able to make those maps effective for the midterm election.
Lennon says once the map is finalized, it's up to local election offices to make sure everything runs smoothly, from assigning voters to the right districts to making sure they get the correct ballots and accurate election information. She says that's why timing is critical. There's a new law in Illinois drivers need to know about.
You should be very cognizant of moving over a lane if you can, and if you can't, slowing down.
State Representative Jay Hoffman sponsored the addition to Scott's Law, also known as the Move Over Law. It means you should change lanes or at least slow down for more than just pulled over emergency vehicles, now assisting pedestrians and moving on the shoulder emergency vehicles too.
It really is a safety for emergency workers, whether the police, fire, or tow truck drivers.
Hoffman says it was passed with bipartisan support. Governor Pritzker signed it into law. Questions remain after a body was found stuffed into a tote in St. Louis City over the weekend.
It is incredibly alarming, and it is a concern.
St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy after human remains were discovered Sunday afternoon on the 4900 block of Harney in North City. He says so far all they know about the victim is she was a female.
Given the circumstances of how this individual was found, what I can tell you is that there's an autopsy being conducted today that will help our detectives determine a cause of death. We don't know how this individual died.
Asked if there was any indication this was connected to the bones found 3 miles away on Labadee Thursday, McCoy says nothing suggests that at this time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Temporary layoffs coming for most workers at the GM assembly plant in Wentzville. According to a joint letter from plant leadership and UAW Local 2250, the shutdown due to a shortage of parts. The layoffs are scheduled to run from September 29th through October 19th. Affected employees will receive unemployment and sub-pay benefits. It's 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals. That ball was mashed. And there are more ways to watch this season. Holy cow! Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts. How about that play? Or watch through a TV provider. Incredible! Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. He got it! Learn more at cardinals.com/TV. Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Wow, we've had a hot summer so far. Probably still got a little bit more heat coming in through the rest of August and September. Most likely, let you know, I am still here. If you guys looked up the wife looking through you at a fork, I am still here. She still loves the hell out of me because my air conditioner did not break this summer, and I did not need to call me to have it looked at or have it fixed. But if you do need your air conditioner fixed, we can get to you pretty quick. If you want a new one, somebody tells you you need a new one, we can get to you really quick. Just call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. I almost forgot. bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10. Looks like we still have a lot of slowdowns out there. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's still busy, Megan, on eastbound Highway 70, primarily from Highway A all the way in through T.R. Hughes and from 5th Street all the way into the Rock Road. 364 still a little busy through Gudermuth and past Central School, Kisker area. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway, onto 64, slow to the Boulevard. Stop and go, though, 364 through Winghaven. Still busy from about Long Road in the Valley to almost Timberlake, from 270 all the way in through the Interbelt. South 170, a couple of slow spots from north of Page down to 64. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley is heavy. South 270 approaching Dorset down to Ladue is off the pace. North 270 slows approaching tests on Ferry up to 44. It's jammed. 44 to Big Bend, and then again busy up to Ladue. 44 still has heavy traffic east of 270 all the way into about Elm, and then it's getting better. North 55, north of 61 up to 67, slow. It's still backed up. Union Road overpass up through Virginia. 64 west of 111, 5570 west of 111 across the Poplar. Still a lot of volume. Westbound A at Z have an injury crash, and eastbound 44 out onto westbound 70 through Madison downtown is pretty busy. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of sunshine and hot today and still rather humid, the high 93. Tonight will be clear. Lows will range from the mid and upper 50s in many suburbs to 67 downtown at the Arch. Mostly sunny and hot tomorrow, high 91. Sunshine mixing with clouds and hot Thursday, high 95. The record is 97, set at 1925. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunny skies now, 67 degrees in St. Peter's, 71 in Florissant. Sunny skies, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. How big of an impact could artificial intelligence have on our society and our faith? So much that St. Louis University's Catholic Studies program is looking at how generative AI intersects with the social teaching of the church. Gregory Beabout is organizing what's being called the Pope Leo series and joins us now. Good morning, Gregory. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning.
So how does this topic tie in with the name chosen by the new Pope?
Yeah, well, the last time we had a Pope Leo was in the 19th century during the period of the Industrial Revolution. And so the new Pope, when he took the name, that signaled, and he even said explicitly that he saw our time as similar to that earlier period of the Industrial Revolution. At that time, the economy changed from the old agricultural economy to a modern industrial economy, and there were changes in politics to the modern debates between capitalism and socialism. And Pope Leo spoke out boldly in his famous 1891 encyclical Rerum Novarum on the condition of the working class. And so the new Pope, in choosing the name Leo, indicated that the church is going to address these new transformative technologies, generative AI, especially with the same courage and clarity of the most recent Pope Leo, Leo XIII.
I don't know about you, but I know for me, as I try to follow the advancements in AI, it just seems like it is moving so much more quickly than anything else we have ever seen in our society. How do you feel about it?
Well, here's what they say. Whatever version of AI you're using now is going to be the worst version you'll ever use. Like next week, it's better. And the week after that, it's better. It's moving very fast. That's correct. I agree totally with that. Like when we just began hearing about it a couple years ago, and then the first time you ever saw anything on ChatGPT, the first time it was suggested to me I should take one of my assignments and plug it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write an essay the way a student would, I was just blown away. It was like, whoa, I got an A essay, and then you press the button again, and it does it again, a different essay, and again, a different essay. And now it's better than it was last month, last year. No, the changes are fast. That's right.
Obviously, it's something that our lawmakers are not going to be able to keep up with it when it comes to regulating these technologies. So, does this then fall to social groups, social constructs, and faith communities to try to police what's happening in this realm?
Well, think of the main different parts of a society, the market sphere, the economic sphere, and certainly there's billions, even trillions of dollars that are going into artificial intelligence. And then think of the political sphere, and that's the normal debate, back and forth between, are we going to get a market-based solution? Are we going to get government regulation? But of course, in the area of civil society, that's what really shapes our lives and our families and our communities and our neighborhoods. And the church, especially the Vatican, it's a different kind of voice. It's a worldwide community, a faith community that's been looking at this already for years. And now the new Pope is really making this priority number one.
How could AI challenge what we feel we know about truth?
Well, obviously, we're in kind of a new social situation where the old, think of how it was at the end of the last century, where you'd have, this emphasis on science as the key to truth. Now, a lot of people call into question whether science is really true. Even before AI, just the new, everything going digital, our phones and everything, and you get this sense that, well, that's true for you. So the culture has shifted on that, and but AI, I think, is bringing those questions to the fore. The church has always had an interest in these questions of truth, and so it's a central concern for us.
You're hearing Gregory Beabout. He's with St. Louis University's Catholic Studies program. For this Pope Leo series that you have organized, give our listeners a sense of all the areas that you are going to be looking at over the coming months.
Well, last month we're having one panel per month. So in August, right before Labor Day, we had a panel on AI and its impact on the world of work. And then just yesterday, we had a panel on AI and its impact on education, the pursuit of truth. Next month, AI and its impact on healthcare. And then the month after that, AI and its impact on care for our common home. And then next semester, we're going to be looking at a whole range of other issues, warfare and the prospects for global peace, surveillance and misinformation, AI and its impact on how we relate to God, AI and its impact on society and human relationships. So a really wide range of topics covered one per month at these different panels.
That is one of the areas that I find myself concerned about is how AI could impact those human relationships. So I guess that's why it's so important that you're meeting together in panels and inviting the public in every month.
Yeah, our last panel in August, we had faculty and students from a really wide range of disciplines: philosophy, economics, organizational industrial psychology, computer science, physical therapy, finance. Now, it's not common at a university for people with all those specializations to get together to have read a document by the Vatican raising questions about all of those disciplines, and then getting together and talking about those things. So that's what we did last month. And then yesterday, the panel that we had was on education. And again, we had a very wide range of people. We had the president of the university. We've got a new president at SLU. A new dean of the business school was there. The student government president, a person from education, from history, from Catholic studies. So we've really got faculty, administrators, students from a lot of different areas all looking at this topic.
Again, these panel discussions are free and open to the public. The next one is Monday, October 6th at 3:15 in SLU's Catholic Studies Center. Gregory, thank you so much for joining us this morning to tell us more about it.
Thanks much.
That is Gregory Be About, conference organizer for the Pope Leo series at St. Louis University. Still ahead on Total Information AM. You may want to slip your shoes off in this heat, but is it legal to drive barefoot? We're going to talk about that next. And then a little bit later, some schools and lawmakers are getting threats following the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. We will get the latest from CBS News correspondent Scott McFarland. Let's get a check of the roads now from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's still a lot of traffic out there, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Amon, Gantner, and Capriano. Eastbound Highway 70 is jammed. Lake St. Louis Boulevard into Highway K, slow to 79 after that. Still busy east of 94 to the Rock Road. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway into 64, slow up to 364. Then it's jammed through Winghaven, Boone's Crossing coming out of the valley to about Timberlake, Lindbergh. Through the Interbelt's all pretty heavy. Westbound 64, Clayton's Kinker to Hanley, slow. South 270, Dorset to Ladue. North 270, Pockets. North of Tesson Ferry up to Big Bend, and then it's still slow up to Ladue after that. Westbound 44, near Antire crash in the left lane. It's back up about midway back to 141 westbound. Eastbound 44 still slow. Lindbergh into about Elm. Northbound 55 still roadwork delays north of 61 to 67. Union Road up to River to Pear backed up. 5570 still west of 111. 64 at 25th Street across the Poplar. A lot of slow going, and 70 both ways around the city limits is heavy. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret at Amon, Gantner, and Capriano. I was suddenly widowed at 41. We had a will. Do you? Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on average.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Tom Ackerman here. The biggest decision that you have to make when it comes to outdoor renovations, so we're talking about windows and siding specifically, is choosing the right contractor. Because if you pick a contractor that maybe is cheaper, cuts corners, doesn't do the job right, you can't go back. Once they do a bad job, then you got to take it all off again and start over with the real thing. The real deal is Banner Construction. They're the ones who have been doing it for over 30 years. They are the absolute best. They are a Pella Windows specialist. They are a James Hardy siding specialist. They do a professional job, well over 30 years now of excellence in St. Louis. Online at bannerconstruction.com. There you can find how to get a free in-home consultation with their outstanding team, and then go from there. 314-569-1050 is their phone number. 314-569-1050 for Banner Construction, and have a banner day.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. With the weather still very warm, you may be driving around barefoot. It's not illegal, but is it advisable? I asked Robert Dillman, founder of Nevo Driving Academy and a former federal driving instructor with the U.S. Department of State.
I had never really thought about this barefoot driving issue. I have to confess that I do sometimes drive barefoot on a long trip.
Sure.
For example, when I've got cruise control on, and I know I'm not going to be touching the pedals very much, but talk about, as someone who is instructing drivers all the time, is this really a bad thing to be driving without shoes on?
So no, it's not, and we use it frequently in a training environment. It's really a question of biomechanics and what your outcome is. If you remove your shoes, you're removing that barrier between your foot and the pedal. So things like intrinsic foot muscles and ankle stabilization and all that type of stuff can kind of come into play. If you need nuanced pedal pressure sensitivity, get rid of the shoe and you're going to feel a lot more vehicle language. But that's in a training environment for like stunt driving, very precise type driving. The other time we recommend driving without shoes is if your footwear is a bit of a safety concern. Maybe you're wearing flip-flops or loose slides, maybe heels for the evening. If you're wearing something like that, definitely remove the shoe. It's going to be a lot safer in the long run. And while most states don't have a law against driving barefoot, on a daily driving type environment, it's not recommended, but it's not, a horrible bad thing either.
This was one concern that was brought up with this. Do you ever worry that it could increase a driver's liability if they are in an accident, if it's known that they did not have shoes on? Could they be accused, for example, of their sweaty foot slipping off the pedal?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, in like daily driving, wearing a shoe is, highly recommended because it expands the pressure sensitivity across the shoe instead of the individual toes. So if you have to do something like a quick emergency stop or a threshold brake, you're going to have a lot more large muscle groups working with you than your small individual toes and smaller muscle groups. So if a crash were to occur, it could be considered negligent that you weren't wearing your shoes. But again, that's on a state-by-state basis in accordance with their laws and rules of the road. But I can definitely see that. I mean, some of my background, I was a former police officer. So that would definitely be something that I would look for, like were you appropriately driving.
I've noticed too, for example, when I do have shoes off, I have to scoot my seat up because there's just enough of a difference that the reach is not there. Does that cause other safety problems?
It absolutely does. I mean, ultimately, you should have between 10 to 12 inches between your sternum and the steering wheel for airbag purposes if you were to get in a crash. So when you're removing your shoe, you're having to scoot your seat forward because you're still using the toes, but you're missing that extra 3/4 of an inch to an inch of the shoe box. So scooting your seat forward is going to push you closer to the steering wheel. You're going to have to adjust other things like seat height, steering wheel height and angle, even headrest, depending on the type of car. So there are definitely other considerations that most people just don't think about.
That is Robert Dillman, founder of Nevo Driving Academy and a former federal driving instructor with the U.S. Department of State. Coming up, schools and public officials are seeing increased threats after the killing of a conservative activist. CBS News' Scott McFarland will join me next.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Always happy to talk about Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, youridoc.com. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Had a visit there recently. Always appreciate everything that they do for our family. Dr. Royer, great work. Dr. Birdie, I know personally, does very good work. Dr. Brusati was the first doctor that I saw, actually, at Ophthalmology Associates, and Dr. Malhotra was one of the first that I met. They just are good people, and they have an office off Manchester Road, 12990 Manchester Road, that is very convenient. It's just west of 270 off Manchester, and it's good to schedule an annual eye exam. It's just good for overall eye health and for your health. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, or you can schedule very easily online at youridoc.com, youridoc.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. As a local small business owner for the past 24 years, I always do my best to shop local and support our community. Recently, 2 of the largest tree contractors in the region have sold to out-of-town investment groups. This means that the new owners of these companies are not invested in quality, customer satisfaction, or safety, except for how it affects their bottom line. Timberline Professional Tree Care was founded in 2001 and is focused solely on giving you, the customer, the safest, highest quality product while providing the best customer service before, during, and after the job. I've poured my heart and soul into tree care for the past 24 years, and we aren't going anywhere. When it comes time to take care of your trees, I ask that you shop local and call me, Ben Barnett, at Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or online at stltreecare.com.
We owe you another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still busy downtown, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Anderson Hospital, 5570, just west of 111 and 64 at 25th Street. Stop-and-go pockets headed across the Poplars, so not a lot of change there, unfortunately. If you're on northbound Highway 55, still slow, approaching 67 in the work zone from Bayless up through River de Pere, Loughborough area, Holly Hills, North 270, north of Tesson Ferry, all the way up to Ladou's busy, South 270, 364 down to Ladou's slow, eastbound Highway 70 from Highway A all the way into 79 from 5th Street into the Rocker. You've got slow stuff. 64 eastbound from Prospect through Winghaven, coming out of the valleys busy from Spady all the way through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton headed to Hanley slow. If you're coming in on 44, just a little busy now east of Big Bend. The westbound 44, though, still jammed midway from 141 up to Antire because of that crash in the left lane. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
We do have an air quality alert kicking in at 10 o'clock today that lasts through this evening. Sunny, hot, humid, a high 93 today. Right now we have sunshine, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. The FBI says there's been an increase in threats and hoaxes targeting some schools and government officials following the shooting death of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk last week. CBS News Justice Department correspondent Scott McFarland joins us now from Washington, D.C. Scott, what have you learned so far about these threats?
Well, the threats are universal to a degree. I mean, they're happening to judges. They're happening to federal employees in some cases, federal officials more often, and then legislators, members of Congress and members of state legislatures. And there's such a universal and profound increase in these threats that they're thinking of spending tens of millions of dollars in the coming days to bolster security and protection for federal officials. That would be in the judiciary and in the executive branch. And Congress is trying to be mindful of its own protection. Listen to this number. The U.S. Capitol Police Chief says already this year, there have been 14,000 threat investigations involving members of Congress. That is literally 5 times more threats than they had just a few years ago. And there are so many, Megan, they can't chase down every single one and investigate it from soup to nuts.
As you know, right now, there's a really broad public discussion about who's behind, ramping up political rhetoric. How much does this news now raise the risk of even more political violence?
I think there's a broad understanding that this can metastasize and can metastasize quickly. That if you have this contagion, not just of political violence, but of this type of violence where people become famous, putting etchings in their shell casings, putting a signature on the shooting, there's a concern of a one-upsmanship that became quite common with concerns of school shootings. And now this is spreading into the world of politically laced violence. But I tell you, we have some caution that just because there's a violent actor in the political space or a violent threat in the political space doesn't mean that those people fall down traditional lines of politics. For example, the person who shot at and wounded President Trump last July in Pennsylvania was reportedly looking for information on Joe Biden's whereabouts too, and didn't leave fingerprints of any type of political rhetoric or political history.
What does all this mean for law enforcement right now?
Oh, it's a huge burden. Local police, state police. Do you pull a police chief aside and say, how much busier are you dealing with hoaxes, swattings, doxings, and threats? They'll tell you a lot busier than we used to be in most cases. And if this cascades into more threats, hoaxes, or genuine threats, it's local police who have to respond. Now, that's a burden that they're sworn to carry, but it's also a danger for law enforcement. When you talk about swattings, we've seen these in Missouri. You talk about swattings when police get false calls of emergencies as somebody tries to menace someone else. And sometimes it can get violent by accident, if not by intent.
That is CBS News Justice Department correspondent Scott McFarland. Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, Megan.
Your money report coming up next.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
8:36, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman.
Good morning. The International Energy Agency says that to maintain current oil and gas output by 2050, the world needs to spend around $540 billion a year looking for the fossil fuels. The head of the IEA's Energy Supply Unit said that while global spending is likely to hit around $570 billion this year, the amount would be down slightly from last year. The SEC says it is, quote, prioritizing a proposal from President Trump to have companies report corporate earnings on a 6-month basis and not quarterly. Trump says the move would allow execs to focus more on running their companies while also saving money. Tesla has been hit with a proposed class action lawsuit in a California federal court for violating civil rights. 2 plaintiffs claim Tesla gives preference in hiring to visa holders for open positions sought by American citizens. The suit alleges that the electric vehicle maker practices, quote, citizenship discrimination to save money. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Dan Schwartzman on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. One of the great things about McKelvey Homes, their president, Jim Brennan, gives back. The company gives back every time they sell a home. They donate $1,898 to a nonprofit. And that has been a hallmark of who they are and what they're all about. 1898 is the year McKelvey Homes was founded. So as Missouri's oldest home builder and the best, they celebrate 1898 by giving back that amount every time they sell a home, $1,898. One of the recipients is one that will be celebrated next month, the Gervais Syndrome Foundation, as they have their Dance for Gervais at the Third Degree Glass Factory. There's so much more as well. I mean, if you go to McKelveyhomes.com, you can see all the incredible home sites, and they really put a lot into that. They go all over the area: Afton, Chesterfield, Cottleville, Creve Coeur, Darting Prairie, and all parts in between. McKelveyhomes.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaners. So I love the fall. As you know, I've been waiting for fall now. It just seems like for so long. Football, back to school, the crisp air, it's a great time to nest. Zero Res is giving you a great fall offer. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. These guys have been to my house a dozen times, maybe more than that. I have pets who aren't great at hitting the spot, and so they keep it really clean for me. Maybe you have pets, maybe you have kids, maybe you just have a family. You know how they do damage to those carpets. We also do couches and chairs and hardwood floors. Or if you're a dentist and you have more than 3 rooms, we're going to make you a great DGS deal. Again, 3 rooms of carpet cleaned at $129, $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call 314-474-2020, or you can book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
This is Justin Brown with Krenz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. As retirement approaches, one question matters most: how will you replace your paycheck? With decades of experience, we've helped retirees turn uncertainty into clarity through personalized income planning and steady guidance. Our proactive strategies are designed so you can enjoy the retirement you worked your lifetime for, with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is our broker-dealer.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDRURYLaw.com.
Sunny skies, 71 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Actor-director Robert Redford, star of films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting, has died at the age of 89. Prosecutors looking at filing a capital murder charge against the Utah man jailed in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And the world's fondness for matcha tea is about to be tested by steep price increases brought on by weather, labor shortages, and tariffs. Well, it looks like federal troops are going to be deployed to Memphis. What's next? Could it be St. Louis? We're going to talk with Bloomberg federal law enforcement reporter Miles Miller coming up. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still fairly busy out there, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Dukes Mayonnaise, eastbound Highway 70 from A to K, from the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road. That's all slow. 64 eastbound Prospect to the Boulevard, a little busy at Winghaven, coming out of the valley through Clarkson and then Spady all the way through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Science Center to Hanley is heavy. South 170 bogs down at Ladue. North 270 a crash near Gravois. It's slow. Chesson Ferry to that point, but then it's still bogged down again from 44 all the way to Ladue after that. Westbound 44 delays from almost 141 now. That crash in the left lane before Antire, causing a backup headed out west. Northbound 55 approaching 67's heavy. Bayless up to River to Pear, 5570 approaching 203, and 64 at 25th Street delays across the Poplar. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Dukes Mayonnaise.
This is the Dukes Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid and its full name. is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. President Trump mobilizing federal law enforcement agents to Memphis, Tennessee. It's the third city that will see National Guard troops on its streets, and the president has said St. Louis is on the list.
We think Chicago is going to be next, and we'll get to St. Louis also.
Joining me now, Bloomberg senior reporter covering federal law enforcement, Miles Miller. Miles, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
For sure.
So when we look specifically at this Memphis action, which agencies are going to be involved in this besides the National Guard?
Yeah, so you're looking at a deployment of the FBI, ATF, Drug Enforcement Administration, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. You know, this will mirror what happened in Washington. It'll be duplicative of the city's police force. The only exception here is that in Washington, the president had that special provision that he could oversee the police department. That won't happen here. Obviously, Memphis's mayor has been very against this policy of bringing people in. And so you'll see them more aligned with state police as well as, the governor's office. The governor was at the Oval Office yesterday backing the president's move. And this is something that we've been reporting on for a number of weeks. This action is targeting Democratic-led cities. And it initially was focused on Democratic-led cities and Democratic-led states. This is the first deployment that'll happen in a Democratic-led city in a Republican state. And this was something that goes against what was the initial belief that this was specifically targeting Democratic-led cities. Now you see it happening in a city that is run by a Democrat, but has a Republican governor. And so it's a way for the White House to say, hey, wait, no, this is all about crime, not about politics.
Well, and which is why this is so interesting to the St. Louis area and Missouri, because we have a similar situation here. Talk about Washington, D.C. Have the efforts shown to be successful at this point?
Well, if you look at what the mayor of Washington, D.C. has said, it really sort of has come to bear. What she said is, of course, if you surge more officers into a city, you're going to have more arrests and crime go down. What we looked at initially in our reporting when the surge first started to happen in Washington was that it was less arrests just by the federal officers than DC police had done in that same period. And in our own reporting, what we found is most of these cases were going through the local court system versus going to federal court. So it's relatively low-level crimes that are being investigated by federal agents who have no police experience, right? They do complex cases, they do complex drug cases and conspiracy, and, they learn how to do computer crimes. But, an FBI agent is not a police officer. They don't wear a gun belt. And one thing that a source told me that I still find funny to this day is when the FBI comes through your door, they say, FBI freeze. They don't say police stop.
So the question that I would have on Memphis, because it did take some time before National Guard troops actually had weapons. Have we had any guidance on whether National Guard serving in Memphis would be armed?
Yeah, so we're checking with the Defense Department, the Department of War about that, and they haven't said that just yet. But, I think the federal agents who are going to be there certainly, will do a lot of that, that crime deterrent. And then, the work of the National Guard has largely been to be a presence, in neighborhoods to protect federal agents who are carrying out these arrests. And in some places, they have been basically there to protect federal structures. So they may be outside, Memphis's federal building, the courthouse, IRS office, that kind of thing to facilitate, federal services continuing. But, the president is pointing to one of the highest homicide rates of any city in the United States, with a population of at least 100,000 last year. Memphis is, really at the top of that list. And so, he feels that he has the right to do this based off those numbers. You don't see those same numbers in Chicago, which is why you got the pushback there.
Our police chief here has said, he's not really going to comment on it until he sees something concrete. What position does this put local law enforcement in?
it puts them in a very difficult position because, I think, what we saw, at least like, let's talk about, here in New York, when ICE was doing initial detentions when Trump came into office. It's a sanctuary city, so they were not able to work with ICE, and so you've got police who have intelligence who can't give it to ICE, and then on top of that, you have deputies, right? So you have people who are in DEA and ATF who don't do ICE detention, that kind of stuff, who are not sharing information with the locals. So when you don't have locals working hand in hand with the feds, then there is a drain of information that goes back and forth. But a lot of these cities are very ironclad on their sanctuary city rules. You saw it in D.C. Yes, we welcome the federal agents, what the mayor said, but we won't facilitate ICE detention. And now Trump is trying to double down and says he may, bring back the federal forces to Washington.
One final question for you. Is this sustainable from both a personnel and a cost perspective to keep going into more cities?
It may not be sustainable from, a deployment perspective, but this is an administration that has put a premium on tackling violent crime. It's not typically what a lot of these agencies do. FBI has been largely focused on counterterrorism and national security, preventing the next kind of attack. But this is what they're putting their premium on. It's what they asked for money in the big, beautiful bill to do. And so, a lot of these agencies flush with cash. They have to do something with it. And the one thing they want to do with it is try to drive down what they see as a violent crime issue across the country. But the FBI statistics show violent crime is down this year compared to last, and compared to the last 3 years.
Miles, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and perspective this morning.
Of course.
That is Bloomberg's Miles Miller joining us on KMOX. Well, coming up, we're going to talk about a play in football called the tush push. Some people want it banned. Tom Ackerman is going to join me in just a moment.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Tom Ackerman here. It's time to crack open an ice-cold Budweiser on a hot day like today. Budweiser also is proud to continue a 15-year partnership with Folds of Honor. And it's always good to remember that Folds of Honor is an organization rooted in supporting military families in need. Service never stops, and neither will we. This year, proceeds from every 12-pack of Budweiser and Bud Zero sold go directly to Folds of Honor. By the way, got myself a 12-pack of Bud Zero recently. I thought, let's give Bud Zero a little try. See how that tastes. Tastes great. And it's also nice. I can pop a couple of Bud Zeros and hop in the car and go run some errands. Bud Zero, no alcohol. Budweiser is a great beer to kick back and enjoy the ball game. Budweiser is the king of beers, the delicious tradition. Budweiser, this Bud's for you.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Despite what we hear in the news, the world isn't all bad.
That's right. A little kindness can go a long way, like holding the door open, sharing a compliment, or just being polite.
It doesn't cost a thing, but it can mean everything to someone else.
So let's all do our part, one small act at a time.
Because kindness is contagious.
The Chris and Amy Show, spreading kindness. In partnership with Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. We've talked about a lot of heavy-duty issues this morning, AI and how it affects our faith and society. We've talked about threats to schools and lawmakers, troop deployments to Memphis. Now we're going to talk about the tush push. Tom Ackerman joins us now. The NFL tried to ban this in the offseason. It's a play that the Eagles used pretty successfully against the Chiefs. So, Tom, what is the tush push and why is it so controversial?
It is a legal play that the Philadelphia Eagles primarily run to get a yard. And they do it by lining up a tight formation. Their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, literally gets pushed by players in the backfield, and he pushes forward on the offensive linemen who push the defensive linemen and have to get good position, usually a lower leverage position, to push those linemen through. And the Eagles have perfected it. Why don't other teams run it? Because they don't practice it as well as the Eagles. They perhaps don't have the personnel that the Eagles do. You have to have really everything right. You have to have offensive linemen who know how to do it. You have to have other players who know how to line up and do it. You have to have a quarterback who's stout and strong, kind of a bigger sized quarterback. Hurts can, he's a strong guy. So you have to have all the pieces to do it, but you also have to be willing to run the risk that your quarterback could get hurt. And that is why it has been a push to get the tush push banned, because many NFL officials believe it is a dangerous play.
Well, you've got guys on each side pushing. And so I'm thinking like the core and the leg strength that individual has to not do like a face dive into the ground, is incredible, especially with guys then piling on top to try to stop it.
Right. So the Giants ran at one time, and their quarterback, Daniel Jones, got absolutely smoked by a linebacker. So they said, that's enough of that. We're not going to run that again. Others have thought about doing it. The other quarterbacks have told their team, don't run that for me, because they think that they'll get hurt. So there's some teams that actually don't attempt it at all. There are some other teams like the Buffalo Bills have tried it. They have a big quarterback, Josh Allen. They might be able to do it every once in a while. I think the Bears have made some attempts at it, but mostly this is a Philadelphia Eagles play. And they ran it 6 times, I believe, in that win over the Eagles. The win over the Chiefs. The Eagles did on Sunday. And Philadelphia is the Super Bowl champs. And, they line up and do it, and they convert it, Megan, about 97% of the time. Almost every single time they run it, they get the yard. And other teams will try to run a 4th and 1, and they will try their own ways to get that yard, but they won't do it, and it's not as successful as the tush push. Now, it almost got banned, but it hasn't been. And so now the question is, how do you stop it? And so other defenses and teams will try to scheme and try to figure out ways to stop it. But again, you have to be able to get lower than the offensive lineman, which is no easy task. And I think the biggest thing of all, Megan, is that you have to be able to be willing to do it, understanding that there is an injury risk. The other thing to watch for here is that there were some complaints in that game against the Chiefs that the Eagles were going too early. Mm-hmm. So perhaps there should have been a false start called on them. In fact, Tom Brady called it out on the broadcast. So that's something to watch. When that starts to happen, like Andy Reid, who is going to be in the Hall of Fame type coach, when that starts to happen, then more eyes are on it, more scrutiny, and perhaps they'll be watching it closer to see if there should be a penalty called on the Eagles. Might be the only way to stop it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a mess to watch in a way. And as an official, I don't know how you're going to be able to see that split-second difference.
Yeah, so they're going to have to review this on video and try to figure that out. But in the meantime, the Eagles continue to run what it's basically like a rugby scrum. Mm-hmm. But again, a legal play. I mean, there's nothing against you. You are allowed to snap the ball and then push your offensive lineman forward, and you are allowed to be pushed from behind by your own teammates. So unless another team can get in there and disrupt it, the Eagles will continue to run it. I will say, though, if Jalen Hurts gets injured, not on that play, but on any other play, I'm not sure. I'd have to look to see if they have. I'm sure they have thought this through, but they have to have the right quarterback to do it. I mean, let's say, for example, the Washington Commanders have an awesome quarterback in Jaden Daniels, but he's a little more taller, slender than Hurts. I think they would avoid doing that. Seattle has Jalen Milroe, big, strong running back from Alabama, maybe a little more suited to run a tush push if they could figure out how to do it. Has a great name too.
Yeah, I think right now it might just be a little bit of sour grapes.
I think it is. I think it is. And I'm not rooting for it, nor am I railing against it at this point, just presenting the facts for everybody. But the fact of the matter is no one's been able to stop the Eagles from doing it because they're so good at it. And that's the other thing. If it was so easy, then why isn't everybody doing it? Because it is not easy to accomplish, but the Eagles have figured out a way to do it. They have the special ingredients, so to speak, a secret recipe on how to accomplish that 1 yard that other teams have not figured out yet.
Tom, thanks for the insight. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, we're going to ask if we're going to see a rate cut from the Federal Reserve this week. We'll have our weekly chat with KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz.
Brad Young sitting in on the show today with me, Chris Ranji. We will talk about what it might look like if the National Guard does end up coming to St. Louis. The Cardinals continue their final homestand of the season tonight. They will play against the Reds. And we got a lot more coming up. We hope you stick around with us. The Chris and Amy Show gets started right after the news on KMOX.
Say you're trying to find some help for your mother who wants to age in place, age at home, and then you're spending all this time on the phone, making phone calls, waiting for callbacks, wondering if this